back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Devereaux.
It's true. Episode 251, by the way. This is the first time Devereaux and I have ever been on set together. There was speculation that we were the same person. Wow. I can understand. But I guarantee you it's more Clark Kent and Superman.
Oh, please. Thank you, Paul. But no, not like that. Thank you, though.
Guys, we are here in San Jose, California at SAP Center, enjoying the festivities here. The 2025 NHL Entry Draft Party put on by the San Jose Sharks. They were very kind to us again this year to have us come and do this whole thing for you guys. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this show. We know we've got our idea of who we think the Sharks are going to pick or what's going to happen with what's going on. We're going to have some guests for you guys here today as well. But Aaron, where do you want to start with all this? Because we have some things to talk about with picks.
Have fun, Aaron.
All right. I guess I'll start.
It's on you, buddy.
Well, the Sharks have a, 9 total draft picks, I think, in this draft?
Yes, 9.
In the first round alone, which is just tonight. Tonight's just the first round. Tomorrow will be second through the 7th rounds. They have 2 as of now. As of now, this could change because there could be some trades or something going on. So right now, the Sharks have the 2nd overall pick and the 30th overall, which is from the trade for Dallas when Mikael Granlund and Cody Ceci got traded to the Dallas Stars. Fun fact, Cody Ceci is involved in 3 of the 9 draft picks that the Sharks hold in this draft. The first one was when he got traded to the Sharks from Edmonton. They gave us a draft pick.
That's right.
And that was which one was that one? 3rd round draft pick that the Sharks had.
Yeah.
Then the Sharks traded him with Granlund to the Dallas Stars and got 2 draft picks for the 1st round and the 4th round. So yeah, thank you, Cody Ceci. A little round of applause for
Ceci's Pizza.
Absolutely.
He's also rumored possibly to be signed again by the San Jose Sharks as a free agent. So full circle.
Okay, welcome
doing
back.
his duty as a San Jose Sharks fan, super fan. Anyway, today's gonna be two picks so far, 2nd round and the 2nd overall and the 30th overall. There is some speculation. Well, first of all, I'll say Misa is considered the best forward prospect outside of Schaefer.
The consensus number 1 forward of the draft absolutely is Michael Misa. Now, the consensus number 1 overall of the draft obviously is Schaefer, right? Matt Schaefer.
Well, it's whoever the New York Islanders pick.
It's whoever they pick. That is true. But, we saw, and we'll talk about some of this later on, but Noah Dobson did get traded. He was a defenseman and a very young, good defenseman for the New York Islanders.
Yes.
It seems like with them making that trade, they're making a statement today that they are going to take Schaefer 1st overall. So I don't expect anybody else to be there other than Misa as the main guy that the Sharks are going to be taking with the number 2 pick in this draft. Unless, of course, they trade it away and we have no idea what we're talking about. Now,
Frondell has been in the news a lot.
There was a lot of speculation with Anton Frondell potentially taking that number 2 spot away from Michael Misa. However, I just don't believe it. I am convinced that it is a bunch of Chicago Blackhawks fans posting on the Sharks boards and whatnot saying, oh yeah, no, we totally want, posing as Sharks fans.
Yes, we love this guy. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen today. I honestly, again, it's the number 2 overall pick. If you're not going to take Misa and you're going to take Frondell, in my mind, you move that pick before you do that.
Right.
Chicago would trade up even 1 spot and give you something extra for it. Why? Because who's ever at number 4, number 5, number 6, they're all going to be thinking the same thing. We can get that number 2 pick, and then Chicago's in the same area that they're in right now where they don't get to pick Misa, and I guarantee you they would love to have him.
Yeah, and they're considering Misa the Patrick Marleau to Joe Thornton, and Joe Thornton would be the Celebrini.
There it is.
So that would be, the Sharks would be set for a long time at center. Especially when they have Smith, too, as a center. That's a lot of centers.
Well, but would Misa then be like on the more 2nd line, and you would put Smith still with Celebrini on the 1st line?
It's going to be like when the Sharks had Pavelski, Marleau, Thornton.
You just spread the wealth. You just kind of figure it out.
Couture, they play on the wing, and if they get kicked out of the faceoff circle, they have another center that's there to take the faceoff.
Okay. You had said before talking about they like doing it in pairs. They got a center and a wing, and then they fill somebody else in. I think if you've got Macklin with Eklund, if Smith ends up as a centerman, fine. Smith centering Musty. We saw that working out really well in the prospect game. They had instant chemistry, right?
Musty.
And then you've got Misa if you draft him here along with Chernyshov.
Yes.
I don't care which the 1, 2, 3 line.
Yeah, you just figure it out.
It's just whoever's got the most time on ice at that point. But that's 3 solid pairs of guys that have chemistry already built in. I don't know. To me, that's a deadly combination.
Absolutely.
And then you got Ostapchuk as the 4th line center. Again, I think this organization is really putting those building blocks together. And everybody sees that they were in last place last season and last place the season before. And they don't see the jump. We've talked about this before. They don't see the jump between last place and last place, but there was a significant
Oh, there was
jump
a big, there was a
between
big
the two.
jump. It looked a lot differently. Even though there's only a 5-point difference between last season and this past season, it felt differently. You felt like the team could actually finish some of the games. Now, did they always finish the games? Well, no. And then
Obviously.
we saw some leads blown and all that, but it felt differently because you saw the progress from the previous season to this past season.
It was a much more entertaining product on the ice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago was pretty brutal.
Oh, it was rough.
But last season with Mac and Celebrini in your lineup, you have a chance every night
Yeah,
to do
every night.
something magical. Every time he's on the ice. It's kind of like Eklund too. I feel like Celebrini and Eklund, those two on the ice, something is going to happen and all eyes are on them.
Would you say that Eklund was the MVP of last season? Overall, if you had to pick the Sharks' best player overall, he had a far more, I guess if you want to look at it, number,
Yeah.
even plus minus. Far better than Celebrini.
I think he was the most consistent
player. Okay, there it is.
Celebrini
Okay.
at the end, the last few weeks, kind of tailed off a little bit.
Because
He's tired, man. That's a
Yeah,
long
he's never
season.
played- yeah.
At that point, he's never played more than, I think, 60 games in a season. And even then, it was still, he missed a dozen.
Yeah.
So it was only up to like 70-ish.
70 games, yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's tough when you're a young guy coming into the league. I mean, he was a very young 18. He just turned 19.
Yeah.
Like last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. He's very, very young. He could, was it a matter of 6 months? He wouldn't have been able to be drafted last year?
Forget what it was.
Right, he would be in this year's draft.
You're right, yeah, because of birthday and all that kind of
Yeah. Crazy.
Well, another solid young center again. And somebody said it in the chat down there. Michael Misa actually did play on the wing, but for his draft year, he went back to center. He played as a center in his youth, but when they had him in there, again, 15 years old, he had exceptional status to play in the OHL. This is a very good player. I know everybody's saying this draft is not nearly as deep, and it's probably not, but that's a very good player, and if you can pull him down at number 2 overall, you got to be happy with that. So,
Did you see that last question?
No,
Do
what
you
was it?
think Misa is going to be playing in
ready?
the NHL next season, like Celebrini did? I think there's a chance.
I think he gets a solid look.
because I mean it's either juniors or NHL.
You
For
know,
a forward, it's not. For a defenseman
Paul, you're the
like
expert.
Dickinson,
Tell us, Paul.
that's fine, but-
Definitely not the expert. I'll say that, and I do wish we had Graham here with us. That would have been fun. He's no offense to Superman here, but Graham obviously knows a lot more about the prospects than any of us do combined.
Definitely.
But my
he
thought,
has the size though. He has the NHL.
Graham does?
Misa.
Oh.
Yeah. Misa has the NHL
They
size.
said
Like
it.
you-
I'm only, okay.
the physical toll on his body, I think, he would be more prepared, even more than Celebrini was.
Okay.
maybe, but you're underestimating Celebrini's conditioning. You know what I'm saying? That kid's a tank. So.
Yeah,
From birth. I mean, his dad, like with all
Yeah.
the Warriors,
Yeah.
he's been conditioned. Yeah.
But I think with Misa, it's kind of like the Sam Dickinson thing right now. Sam Dickinson's probably going to get the opportunity to play next season. And
Yeah.
it's because he's got nothing else he can prove. He's got nothing else to do in the junior league.
He destroyed the
He
OHL
destroyed
last
it.
year.
Michael Misa, again, as a 15-year-old, got drafted into the OHL, exceptional status. Spent his time there, and then he spends his last season, this draft year, just absolutely destroying it. Led not the OHL, the CHL. Every single league within the CHL, there's 3 of them. He led everybody in points.
Wow.
So I don't think he's got anything else to prove going back there either, right?
Yep.
So. And we talked about this with Will Smith, and it was a good idea for Will Smith to go back and get into NCAA. We talked about this even with, I think it was Eklund, I think, when he was going back to your garden, right? So I don't know that Misa really is going to get anything out of going back to the OHL. But, I mean, if he does, he does. But I think he's definitely going to get an honest, good look at getting a shot to play with the San Jose Sharks as early as next season if they draft him. If they don't draft him, whichever team does, is probably thinking the exact same thing. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he has a. I don't want to say they're going to give him a spot. They'll never give
no,
anybody a
no,
spot.
they wouldn't do that.
But I think he has an opportunity to make the team. It would really suck to have him go back to juniors.
Like you said, he'll get a solid look, a solid chance, a real look. Yes.
Behind me, they just showed Michael Misa on the big center hung.
Center
on the center hung. They showed him, and the crowd was cheering. I think the feeling here is that we're not going after Frondell. I think we're going after Misa here. I think the fans know it. I think the Chicago fans know it. The ones that are posing as Sharks fans, I think you guys know it. So here we go. Spooky says we'll be stacked down the middle. Absolutely. You know, like he said, and somebody else said it in the comments here. Not everyone's going to end up playing as a center. Someone's going to end up playing on the wing, most likely. But imagine if they didn't. 3 scoring lines like that, just ridiculous. So yeah, absolutely, we're going to be stacked down the middle. And even if not, someone get kicked out of the faceoff, like Aaron said, we're going to be winning draws regardless. Maybe not if it's Will Smith from last season.
Let's not do that.
25%, I think is what it was.
He'll get better. He'll get better. He'll get better.
It's tough.
It is.
That's what Celebrini did is amazing. It is amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Someone just said, I think it was Peter St. John
okay.
saying that Misa was committed to playing the NCAA. Because there is that ruling where they can go, I forgot about that, they can go from juniors to the NCAA. Before you couldn't do that. You couldn't do it in between.
Okay.
So, yes, he would be able to do that. Can we tip our hats to Vlasic, by the way? Sharks legend.
We can and we will. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, I think. But certainly, absolutely. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, you know, it's too bad because the later part of his career, he got a really bad rap for the size of his contract and the level of his play. He had some things going on. We don't need to get into that, but I just think, you know, if you take a look at the entire body of work that Marc-Edouard Vlasic brought to the San Jose Sharks, played for that team for 19 seasons straight, didn't go anywhere else. Some people don't like that, I get it, but he was loyal to the fan base, he was loyal to the city, he was loyal to the team. He came out, he gave it everything he had every single night, even when he didn't have it, right? He was giving 100% of whatever he had in the tank. And you know, there was that one play where he got elbowed in the playoffs and he went down, and I swear to you, if that didn't happen, we'd have been talking about maybe the Sharks' first cup that year. So, you know, he was a very big impact player for this team. He made a huge impact defensively. Everybody talks about all the offense, but nobody talks about how much a shutdown guy helps out on these teams, and Marc-Edouard Vlasic was that.
He was that. He was that defender that you knew you could count on. It doesn't matter if he's going up against Sidney Crosby or he's going up against Patrick Kane's line. It didn't matter. You knew that he was going to put in a shift, like you said, every time. Every time he hit the ice, you know he's going to give you everything he had.
Absolutely.
Now, was the offensive? Well, no, he wasn't that type of player.
Right.
But he was a great all-around player, obviously a great teammate. Everyone would play for him. Everyone would love him to be on their team because he was so consistent every time.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a quick break right now. We have a special guest coming on the show, so we'll see you in just a minute maybe, okay? So hang tight, we'll be right back. Guys, we are back. We have Sharks alum Tom Peterson with us today. Of course, one of the things you're probably known even better for than playing for the Sharks is the inception of the Green Biscuit, which I've used personally. It's fantastic. We'll talk about that just a little bit.
Awesome.
We've only got a few questions for you. Want to respect your time. So, Aaron, fire away.
Sure, Tom. You're originally from Minnesota. You played at the Sharks for 4 seasons. Played in Germany for a little bit. Why did you come back to San Jose?
Just, I ended up getting married here, and just started my life here and loved it, even though I went away. I went to the Toronto Maple Leafs for a cup of coffee, and then I went to Germany. I played in Japan, and my wife at the time was from here, and just fell in love with the area. I mean, it's beautiful. So and I ended up staying.
You were lucky enough to buy something in the area in the
No.
90s? No?
Well, actually, I did, but then I was like a lot of hockey players, and unfortunately, I got divorced. It's okay. It's all good now, though.
Right. That was some of the ties that kept you here, though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We like it here.
Yeah. Cool. Now, a lot of players have a hard time transitioning out of hockey and into something else. And you did something. You created the Green Biscuit, right? How did that even come about? Where did that even come from?
Yeah, looking back on it, I was pretty fortunate to be able to find that niche where I could have a hockey passion and then monetize that and find a way to make a living doing it and have a lot of fun, help these kids play hockey. So that was a challenge, but I feel like I was very fortunate to have that, all those things collide where the Green Biscuit was an option for me, and I saw the potential in the puck and then ran with it. Yeah.
So were you part of the creation process of the puck?
I didn't engineer it, but I met a guy here named Pete Dudley who was around the rink, and he showed me this puck, and I knew kind of my time in the NHL was, I wasn't going to be in the NHL forever, and I said, what am I going to do afterwards? And after I got done playing, I reached out to him, and I said, you still have that puck? And he's like, I do. I'm like, have lunch with me. And so we had lunch, and we talked, and I said, I think I want to try and make a go of this. And we worked a little agreement out, and then I created Green Biscuit, and the rest is history.
So it's a Silicon Valley product.
Silicon Valley.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Engineered here.
Well, engineered here, manufactured in China.
Right. Like everything. Yeah.
Well, a lot of things are. Yeah.
It's a fantastic product. I've certainly used the heck out of mine, and we'll show you guys that one in just a bit. We might have Tom actually demonstrate just a little bit in just a minute, but first I do want to ask you. Oh, he's getting the hands ready.
Loosen my mitts
Loosen
up.
up the digits. Way to go. No, I do want to ask you though. In this day and age, now you're listed at 5'9", maybe 5'10" as a defenseman, right? The Sharks have a prospect, Luca Cagnoni, who's a 5'9" defenseman, right-handed defenseman, actually.
All right.
And I just was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about, from what you've seen in recent years here, compared to your era of play, maybe the difference between being a 5'9", 5'10" sized defenseman in those two different eras.
Well, either era, you got to really be able to skate. If you're going to be 5'9", you got to really be able to move. And I imagine this kid you mentioned, I'm sure he can really move because he wouldn't make it to this level, or just below this level if he couldn't skate. So, you look around the league. The kid from Vancouver, Hughes, not a big guy. Cale McCarr's not a great big guy. I know there's a couple other guys that I'm missing, but being a successful defenseman in this league, being able to move the puck out of your zone, quick passes, retrievals, and then playing solid defense. And then back when I played, the guys were a lot bigger.
Oh yeah.
But they couldn't move as well because if they're big. So that's where I could have an advantage. If I could really skate, then I didn't have to deal with them all the time if I could just skate away from them.
No, very good. So, unless you have another question, I want to move this stuff out of the way because I actually brought, I'm going to go off camera, just stay right there. I actually brought my own shooting pad from home for the kids to use, right? So, I'm just going to put this right here.
Yep, let me get out of the way.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good. So, we're going to put that right there. I'm going to move this, and then I'm going to show everybody. These are the Green Biscuits. This is what they look like. I don't know if you want to get a closer shot of that, Jay. Can we get over here, maybe?
That's the snipe.
That's the snipe.
That's the shooting puck.
Yeah, sorry, the what do you call it? Focus there. That's an old. Hey, let me tell you, this one's over a decade old right now.
Look at that.
That one's over a decade. This thing here, the snipe. So the regular ones are meant for stick handling.
Correct.
If you shoot these into a concrete block or so, it's going to explode.
Yeah, it could
this
explode.
one, I've shot this thing, I don't know how many times directly into concrete trying to break it. These do not break. And they stick handle almost as well as
Well,
these.
now I've got the new Snipe 2.0.
Okay.
And so it slides much better than that. So you gotta upgrade.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's the first thing I'll be doing when I get out of here,
Awesome.
I promise you. So you pick which one you
Well,
like.
I'll take the light green one.
The light green,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
there you
So
go. He's going to
I'll give you
demonstrate.
the microphone.
There you
Let's see
are.
here. I'm gonna
We're going to
go
watch
here.
the pro at work here.
So,
Oh, yeah. Oh! Yep. Fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So what's great about the Green Biscuit is it allows you to work on your toe drag. That's what I'm doing here. And then your saucer pass is where you pick it up and bring it back down. You watch Celebrini and all the guys
Yeah.
in the team. They make it look real easy, but it's not.
Absolutely.
You got to pull it off in a game situation. That takes guts, a lot of practice. So the Green Biscuit's great for working on your saucer pass. The toe drag is this one. And then the one-touch pass is where you don't catch it, you just bang it right back to the guy, and that's a great way to create scoring chances. So those are the three skills, and the Green Biscuit stays flat, doesn't flip over, stays flat on a rough surface. So that's kind of what the secret is behind it.
I'll tell you, you still got the mitts, man. And you know, they gave, I think Jumbo said, Greer's nickname was Silky. I think they got it wrong. You're the one with the silky mitts here. I don't think the Stick's ever done that before.
No?
You got some work to do, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I got my work cut out for me. I'm going to go get a Green Biscuit, a good-looking one when I get back. Guys, that was an interview with Tom Peterson, Shark alum and creator of the Green Biscuit. Go check them out. They are fantastic. Tom, thank you so much for popping by.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll
Appreciate
be
it.
right
Thank you,
back.
fellas.
Come right back with us. And we're back. I got the chairs back. I did it all myself. Super producer Jason didn't line these up at all. You guys tell me if it looks okay. Just kidding. He does everything. Hey, real quick, Matthew Schaefer just got picked #1 overall. We figured that was going to happen. Now the drama starts.
Let's go. Misa,
Right?
come on, Misa, come on.
So let's see what he did the confetti thing on it. I missed it. So yeah, Matthew Schaefer off the board. Again, we all anticipated that was going to be the case. Now it's going to come down to, was it really Sharks fans or was it Chicago fans trolling? And are we going to end up with my favorite of the draft, Michael Misa? Well, I shouldn't say my favorite, but my favorite to go #2, Michael Misa.
Best available.
Next available, it's him. Or are we going to look at potentially Anton Frondel? Or are we going to look at a potential trade?
There's The Sharks are now on the clock, right?
We are on the clock.
I think the clock starts or something starts.
Well, like, okay, if they do happen to trade this pick, what are you looking back in a return? Like, what would you expect back? They traded the number 2 pick.
Apparently today they said they wanted an NHL-ready player.
So that's top 6, right?
So Dobson, apparently the Islanders tried to trade Dobson to the Sharks for that 2nd overall pick, and Greer said no. So the return wasn't enough for that. So somebody worth more than Noah Dobson.
I mean,
Who would that be?
Yeah, Noah Dobson is a
26?
young NHL-ready defenseman who can do a lot.
A right-handed shot defenseman.
And a right-handed
less
shot.
of those available.
So if that wasn't enough to pry the number 2 pick away, to me, that says how much you're going to need to give to get that, but it also tells me how much they covet having the pick. I think they want to use it.
I mean, yeah, I think they want to use it unless someone makes them
prize it out of their hands.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got to make it worth something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. There could be Gary Bettman could go to the stand right now and say we have a trade to announce.
Yeah.
You never know. Probably not.
I mean, I'm guessing not. I'm hoping not. By the way, they're still talking a little bit over here behind my back on the screen. Don't worry about that. But I just
Never
think
you mind.
I had said earlier that it was my number 1 pick, my favorite player in the draft. What I meant was for the number 2 pick, my favorite player in the draft happens to be
Victor Eklund.
Victor Eklund, baby. I'm telling you right now.
Here we go.
If you watch the film, okay? If you watch the film on this guy, don't watch the highlights, okay? The highlights show you all the good things. You have to watch the shift-by-shift game video of the players. I'm telling you, the kid is nasty. He comes after you with everything he's got. He's got the offensive skill. I would love to have him on this roster. Now, the problem is getting him there. You're not going to pick him at number 2. You could drop down, right? But then the haul's got to be great. So I don't know. That's
Where do you find the time to watch shift by shift?
Yeah, right.
What is going on?
They have it. No. You know why? Because again, YouTube. They have them already just cutting their shifts there, so it's actually more like a less than 20-minute video, and you only see their shifts. But you see everything on the everyday player for what that player is doing in that game. You know, you see the mistakes. You see the great, brilliant things that they do. You see the hustle, the jam, right?
Okay.
You don't just go to the highlights and go, oh, look at this thing he did great one time. And then you go check another highlight and you see the same thing that he did. It's the same clip. No. You see everything that the guy's capable of throughout the game. And I'm telling you, this guy does it all. He's just like his brother. He's tenacious. I said Chihuahua. You made fun of me for it. I don't care. He'll nip at your heels and you'll be hating it all day long. The kid's fantastic. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Sharks are on the clock now.
It looks like they're coming up. Maybe. No, they're doing some video right now.
No, this year's different. So all the GMs are home at their respective offices, and at the actual draft event is just Gary Bettman going up to announce the pick. So I think it's similar to the NBA does that and the NFL does that.
For the actual draft, he just makes the announcement and the player comes up and
The
then puts the
commissioner
hat
goes
up.
up and announces it, right?
Yeah, the commissioner comes up. Yeah.
So, being this how you guys watch, because I don't bother with basketball and everything else. Hockey's my sport. So, being that that's the case, and you guys watch the other drafts, and you see how he goes up, and the commissioner's talking, do you prefer the commissioner to go up and talk and just get it done with? Or do you guys like when it's a little more personable, even if it takes longer?
No, I don't like the personal
No.
thing. I want to get it done. I think it gets dragged out too much, in my opinion. I also like that the GMs are with their teams. They don't have to travel everywhere. And they get to call on private lines and not have other people around them or very loud arenas.
Yeah.
Or just in case something were to go down, like you're with your hub, right? You're with your nucleus of. Like,
I was wondering if there would be more trades and movement because of that. And this is the first year. Who knows? I don't know if it'll be any different.
A couple hours ago we had that trade, so I mean maybe that precipitated some of the movement, but yeah.
I don't want to interrupt, but I happen to notice that Misa is showing up as the next best available according to everybody else, and Anton Frondel is showing up as the 4th best available according to everybody, the pundits and whatnot. And they just got it completely wrong. They got Victor Eklund at number 10. So.
Wait, where's Chicago picking at? Number 3?
Who's that?
Is Chicago
Chicago's
picking?
going 3.
So if they take Frondell, it's a reach. That's what you're saying. It's a reach.
It's a reach.
It's a reach.
At 3, Frondell's a reach. Why would we pick him at 2?
Okay.
Hell, crazy. Higgins was there at 3 is why. There was speculation that the Islanders might trade down to get value to give Chicago the option to pick first overall, and they're going to be at number 3 and take James Higgins, who was a New York native, I believe, right? Yes.
But they just traded Dobson today.
Of course, yeah.
Was it 15th
Well,
and
they
16th
just picked
overall?
Schaefer. It obviously didn't happen.
Right, no, but I mean 15th and 16th?
Right.
16,
16,
17.
17.
16, 17.
Yeah.
So they have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, they got 3.
They have a busy day today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a happy fan base, I think. I mean, it's just a lot going on for them, I think. It's whether or not you get somebody that you're looking for, okay, fine, but there's just there's those memes, do something, right? I mean, this GM's going to be doing all kinds of things today.
As a fan, you like, even if it might not pay off like in the short term, that first season, you love like, oh, there's trades going on. Oh, are we moving? Oh yeah, we can get this guy. We might be able to get this guy. Like, and then it sets in the next day or the next week, and you're like, wait, what do we do? But in that moment, there's that rush, right? Just like in the draft, when a fantasy draft, that's great, and you're like, wait, who did I pick? Let's not talk about that here and be quiet.
So the Sharks are on the clock, as we said. They started off with 3 minutes, apparently at 3 minutes. I thought it was like 5, but I guess it's 3. And they're down to just over a minute. It's like a minute 8. And the pick is in.
All right, let's go.
It says pick is in. It does not say anything about a trade.
You're right. Okay. You're right.
So there was a pick. Now the Sharks are about to name this pick. We're going to still talk because we're not supposed to show you what's going on. Necessarily. It just happens to be back there, so you can pay attention. There's Sharky banging the drum.
Let's go, Sharky. Come on.
Get it, you big fish. By the way, Sharky, mascot Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's the season of a preseason of Hall of Fame for the San Jose Sharks.
That's right.
Jumbo Joe. We'll talk about him in a bit too. But we're gonna keep an eye back here. What's going on behind us? The fans are loving it. Let's go Sharks chants. Sharky's banging the drum. Hey, tell us about the atmosphere right now. What do you think?
So I was here last year, and it looks great. Not as many people, but it still is loud. It still is loud. Also, Sharky with that drum is bringing a lot of energy.
Last year was a little more exciting with Celebrini.
Number 1. I mean, we already knew who we were gonna get, but yeah,
this first time getting a first overall pick.
Misa. Let's go. Come on.
There's the whole Sharks crew.
I wonder if they're here in the building and they're downstairs.
Yeah, I would think so.
I don't know where that office is. I can't really tell.
Those are some fancy couches or chairs or whatever those things are. Is it a couch? I don't even know. Regardless.
These are pretty nice. I mean, not as nice, but still pretty nice.
These are very nice. Hey, I want to thank you again.
I want to be welcomed back. These are phenomenal. Oh, yeah.
Getting us to sit in these beautiful chairs. Getting Tom Peterson and some other guests. You'll see who those guys are probably right after this pick, actually. Now, again, it does say pick is in. They are showing Frondell, and they were showing Misa. I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't believe that they're going off the board and taking Frondell.
It's taken a while now. I'm a little worried. They're going really slow. Gary Bettman doesn't have to walk up to the stage. Isn't he already there?
I hope so.
I think he walks back, and then he comes back. I don't know.
He just walks back and forth.
Text him the pick. Maybe he doesn't know how to text.
He's sitting there. How do you work this thing?
He's going to print his emails.
But there is that gap between Misa and Frondell, right? I feel like everything I was reading was like top tier was Schaefer and Misa, and everything else is...
Yeah, I feel like that's the case. I feel like he is a step beyond everybody else. The other thing to remember is Misa, again, is younger than a lot of the other guys in the draft class. He's a young guy. So where he's at right now, if he's number 2... Dude, he's got to get another year or 2 under his belt to show where he is compared to the guys that are 20 years old getting drafted, right? Yeah. So again, to me, he's just that much higher in terms of his ceiling and what it could be.
Yeah.
And I think he pairs a lot better to me with a Macklin. I don't think we need to have a bunch of really big guys. I know there are Greer's guys. We talk about the bigger guys.
Yeah.
The 6 foot 3.
We need a lot of big guys.
We do need big guys. I get that, but I don't think everybody needs to be one. I think we're going to be looking at more guys that are going to be bigger. Greer's done a great job of drafting some size, of bringing size in through trades or through free agency, and he's going to continue to do that. So I don't think it all needs to happen in this one draft. I don't think you need to roll the dice on Frondell. Not that, again, it's a roll of the dice, but I think to me it's the consensus is Misa. You've seen what he can bring. You see what he can do. You see the skill level. That doesn't grow on trees. And you know what? Next season, you're not going to be picking number 1 or number 2 again. You're going to be picking later. This is your last opportunity to pull a guy of this talent out of a draft.
Let's go.
Pick is in.
Here we go.
Bettman's
walking up.
I guess he did have to walk to the podium.
I don't know why. Here we go. Second pick.
San Jose Sharks. Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
the wrestler. You remember?
no.
Oh,
Who are they doing?
she's a WWE wrestler. She's
Oh,
from
it's,
San Jose. She's a big Sharks
Is it
fan.
Bailey?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Bailey. Bailey, there
Yeah.
you go. So Bailey, San Jose native?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she was on. I can't remember. She was on a show one time with them. They were talking with her during a game. Pretty cool to be able to interview her and everything. So she's the one that's coming out here making the pick. We're gonna hear it.
Towers over Gary Bettman.
Well, is Gary small or
Right,
is she
very
big?
small, but yeah.
Two things
Okay.
are equally true.
Yes.
Okay, so she's about to call it out.
Let's go.
I kind of have to keep talking because we're not
You're
supposed
right.
to
Oh,
just
yeah,
show
you're right.
it.
So we'll
But
see what happens.
I'll conveniently stop talking
With the second
soon.
overall selection in the 2025
Misa.
NHL Draft,
Misa.
the San Jose Sharks are
Frondell.
proud to select from the Saginaw Sphere.
Oh, let's go.
Michael Misa! Michael Misa!
Let's go.
All that, finally.
Hey, I'm happy.
All that Frondell hype, man.
I know, boo.
Hey, Chicago fans, I see through it, buddy. I see right through it. You didn't fool anybody. Michael Misa, hey, I'm going to say my
Yeah.
dad joke now.
There it is.
I said his nickname is going to be Jar Jar Binks because whoever drafts him is going to be Misa So Happy. Woo! You heard it.
That was from 1999. All you kids who
unfortunately
weren't
heard that.
born yet, that was from 1999. It's a movie. Don't worry about it. Star
Wear
Wars.
your dad shoes,
Hey, man.
man. Why don't you wear your
Hey,
dad
man.
shoes today?
Hey, we figured this out before the show. I'm the opener, the closer, and the fun one. He's the adult. Okay? I'm just playing the role. That's all it is.
You do it so well.
Hey.
It wouldn't work without you.
Put it put it in the chat right now. Are you happy? Do you think the Sharks misfired? I don't think they did. I got one guy right here saying Misa. I got another guy saying
That's
woo.
two, that's two.
I got let's go.
Let's go.
You got it.
Let's
Hey,
go. Yeah.
I'm happy. Again, next season, that's the question. Is he going to get that opportunity?
I mean, it's kind of hard to mess that pickup, right?
It's hard to mess it up,
I'm glad they didn't mess it up.
but you
Yes,
gotta.
exactly. That's the whole thing. I'm glad they didn't mess it up.
Now, that's what we talked about earlier. Chernyshov and him were line mates, right?
Yes.
Last season.
Exactly.
So the chemistry is there.
It's already there.
Chernyshov is a guy that a lot of people think could make the NHL next season. Do you think Misa and Chernyshov join together? Maybe that could be the third line center and winger.
Where are all these? Where are they going to fit in? There's, I mean,
That's
some
the
of these
thing.
veterans have got to.
I just want to say I'm so happy with the job that Mike Greer has done that we're even talking about having a log jam of good forwards. Hey, it was only a handful of years ago. This franchise was spending money left and right to the big names. He did the hard work. He did the nasty work. The things none of the fans wanted to see. Getting rid of fan favorites, buying guys out, making trades, taking on salary and retaining. The whole hurdle thing had me like in a whirlwind, So for him to be able to do what he's done, and right now we're talking about, my God, the Sharks are going to have 3 scoring lines if Will Smith plays at center and Musty plays on his wing. That's 3 solid scoring lines that we've just got done drafting in a matter of a couple of years. I don't care who you are or what you said about Mike Greer in the past. If you said he was doing a bad job and needs to be fired, you're wrong.
Who said that? Who said that?
People.
A lot of people
Okay.
say that.
Chicago
People say
Chicago
that.
trolls.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Chicago trolls. Yeah, fire him so we can hire him.
Exactly.
Anyway, I don't know what else can be said. This is what I thought was going to happen. I'm happy it did happen.
Mike
And
Greer,
here we
speaking
go.
of the devil, is talking to Misa right now through the
Oh.
television.
There you go.
So, yeah, he's very excited. I'm very happy to have
I guess
him.
wearing
Yeah.
25. Greer's number. Oh yeah.
The other story with Frondell here is that when they were talking to the two of them, Misa and Frondell said, it would be great to go to the Sharks, but my buddy Victor Eklund is going to be so jealous if I get picked. He wants to play with his brother. To me, that is the next question mark. Is there any way, humanly possible, to make that connection happen, to get the brother in here? I know it's a pipe dream, but I'm sleeping right now, Aaron.
I blame Victor Eklund.
Okay.
For playing so well that he's in the top 10. He should have played just a little bit less
Slide
to
a
be
little
in that
bit.
late first round, early second round pick, because then the Sharks definitely would have gotten him.
I have a calf injury. Oh no,
Right.
I got a toothache. My wisdom
I'm totally
tooth.
joking. I obviously didn't want that to happen, but that's probably the only way that would have happened, right?
Right. Last time I said somebody might get injured, Gibson went down the next day. That was not good. I felt so bad. I didn't though. That's a quick switch in emotion. Anyway,
Feel that bad.
so we do have another guest. He's not quite here yet. We're just going to sit here and spitball with you guys. But again, I'm interested in seeing what you guys had to say about all this. Although super producer Jason is heading to the door right now, so
The
he
guest
can't
might
hit
be
the
here.
buttons.
We'll see.
So
Oh, no,
I know
false
he's saying our guest has not arrived yet.
Ding dong ditch.
Ding dong ditch. We got ding. Yeah, it's the Chicago fans.
They're here.
They're here.
Oh, we gotta find them. Okay.
No, again, Michael Misa, just a fantastic season in his draft year. Deservingly so, going number 2 overall. You know, Matt Schaefer, he had the injury. He didn't get a whole lot of looks, but he would manage to hang on to his status as being the number 1. Why do you think that might be over a guy who completed his season as a forward who led all 3 leagues in the CHL in scoring?
Well, you kind of have to look at the whole draft, right, and the positions and the scarcity of some of the positions, right? So he was head and shoulders above, Schaefer was head and shoulders above other defensemen. So he's the top defenseman. Then you look at Misa, and there's a couple other forwards that are close to Misa. Misa's not like Celebrini was last year, like head and shoulders above everyone. So right now, these next 10 picks is going to be kind of all over the place because those two are the best defender and the best forward, really. So now those top 2 guys are gone. Things are just going to kind of be every expert's pick in mock draft is going to go out the window at this point.
Oh yeah, it's gone. It's a free for all. So it means also, obviously, the medical. The Islanders looked at the medical and said, "Okay, Schaefer, I know we're gonna trade
What is he,
Dobson or like
18,
whatever.
19 years old? Yeah,
we'll figure it out. We got
be all right.
experts. Like we trust that our staff has scouted and like done all their due diligence, and we're gonna take this guy.
Yeah.
And we're gonna trade our veteran defenseman, get some more picks, 16, 17, and rebuild. Let's go.
It's crazy that they traded Dobson. I thought that would have been cool to have Dobson and Schaefer playing together at some point, right, down the line.
Yeah, because they have other guys like we say, Pulak was one of them.
But he has a no movement clause, right? So he's kind of stuck there.
But even if you have a no move clause, do you really want to stay in New York? Sorry, Rangers are fine, I'm sure, but the Islanders.
Well, they got that new arena or the new little complex with
I think
horse racing
the
and all
Islanders are
that.
they're doing more of a retool than a rebuild right now.
But
They're
there's a
not-
legacy there, though. It's gross. What? It's gross.
What is?
A gross legacy?
The legacy. It's gross.
Why?
Isn't that the one that had the car sitting in the corner? They couldn't even see past it?
That was the Brooklyn.
I know that, but it's part of the legacy. Doesn't matter.
So are their cup wins.
I was gonna say, didn't they win like
When was
4
the
cups?
last one? When was the last one?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
They have 4
Well,
in a
long
row.
time ago. Long time
It
ago.
was like 40 years ago, but yeah.
It's been more years since the Islanders have won a cup than the Sharks won a cup.
That is
So there you
factually
go.
true. That is
It
factually
It
true.
is.
Yes.
They have their cups, but
That
it's
is
been longer.
factually true.
Still longer, or less as long. I can't even talk. Right
Less
now.
is
Less
long.
Less is long.
Shorter?
Toronto Maple Leafs. I was just gonna make fun of them.
I was gonna say some Bellarmine education over
Yes.
here.
Maple Leafs haven't even been to the finals since '67.
I am interested in this, though, while we're waiting for our guest. Chicago's about to pick, and they just selected, what was the name? I missed it.
Oh, wait, wasn't Frondell?
No, I don't think it was Frondell.
I don't think it was.
No, they're introducing who's going to make the pick.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
They're introducing.
Jeremy Roenick.
Oh, Roenick's there. Great.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Now he's a Chicago fan again.
Yeah, of course.
It depends.
It was him doing all the stuff on the
Yeah.
storyboard.
Yeah.
The troll.
Whoever gives me a hat, that's who I rep. Okay. Winnipeg Jets. All right. Atlanta Thrashers. It doesn't matter. Put a hat on.
I didn't realize you were talking as Roenick. I thought it was just you because we gave you the Fin Factor hat and it's like, all right, I'll rep the Fin Factor. I'm a fan. Why not? So is that what we need to do now? We
No,
need to hand out hats?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
We can get Ronick back after this. As soon as he gets off the stage, we'll send him a hat.
Guys, if you'd like to support this show and buy a hat that we can give away, you can go to thefinfactor.com and check out any of the merchandise that we have there for sale. You can also go to the Super Chat function as well as Venmo, and anything you put in there, we'll go ahead and read it out on the show. Or maybe he will, because I can already tell my voice is just about
No,
shot.
no.
I was whooping and everything when we
Even with
picked
his
these
glasses
up.
on, he
So
can't
happy.
read anything.
So happy. Oh my goodness.
We only got 3 hours left. It's okay.
Oh, Debbie says I'm here with the guys. Yes, Debbie's actually sitting right there. Hey, what's up, Debbie? How you doing?
Hi, Debbie.
No cookies. No cookies, Debbie?
They wouldn't let her bring him in.
Okay.
She said they wouldn't let him bring it in through security.
Off the board. Way off the board. Chicago picks Anton Frondel.
What a
The
reach.
number three.
What a reach.
What's wrong with you guys? Oh, my goodness. James Higgins is the next big name on this list. Should have gone number 3. So, anyway, Anton Frondel did go to the Blackhawks. Now, look, in my opinion, Misa's the right pick. But even if the Sharks ended up with Anton Frondel, that is not to say that he's a bust or a bad player or whatever else. He's a fantastic player. He's going to do fantastic things in the NHL. This will be something, though, I think that Sharks fans and Blackhawks fans are going to be looking at years to come to kind of compare the two.
Yes, because the back-to-back picks, it doesn't matter what sport the sport you're in or you're supporting or you draft in,
Yeah.
there's always that, oh, we could have had this guy, right? I'll take it back to not the Niners. They took Trey Lance. They could have had Micah Parsons, all-pro defensive end, went to the Cowboys. What happens if they take that pick? So, especially when you pick back-to-back, especially in fantasy or just whenever, it's like, oh, I could have had that guy. Or I was going to make that pick. I always take it back to fantasy. I will always do that. But yeah, there's always that comparison because it's like we just missed it by 1 or we got him by 1. We stole him by 1 or we missed it by 1.
I think you've brought up the missed it by 1 with the Sharks a couple of times. I think Keandre Miller was the main one that you saw there. That was the Ryan Merkley draft, right?
Yes, Ryan Merkley was taking the pick right before Keandre Miller.
Yeah.
So that would have stabilized the Sharks on defense. 'Cause
Yeah.
he jumped to the NHL.
Yeah.
I think his first year, he was pretty
He
quick.
was, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
that would have
so
stabilized them, and that was the year, that was 2019, right? Right when they were still, window was kind of open,
Yeah.
and it just crashed.
Yeah, then
right?
it's bottomed
I think
out.
that would have brought in a lot more stability
right.
for that back end, so it's unfortunate.
So, yeah, they're going through the picks right now. Like I said, they've already got done with the first 3. Now, the next Sharks pick, unless a trade happens,
Eklund.
30th.
Eklund, Victor.
see, he knows. I'm telling you, Clark Kent, Superman, okay? Separate, but the same. No, absolutely. I would love to see them just take a big fat swing and pick him up. You can't miss with this kid. It's not going to happen, but I can dream. The next pick the Sharks have is the 30th. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, remind the folks how we got to the 30th pick.
30th pick is when the Sharks traded Mikhail Granlund and Cody Ceci to the Dallas Stars. They received the first-round pick, which is the 30th overall, as well as the fourth-round pick, which they will be picking tomorrow, unless it gets traded. So thank you, Cody Ceci and Mikhail Granlund, both of whom might come back this offseason as free agents.
I don't think Granlund's coming back because there's a log jam, Aaron. There's a
Yeah,
log
it
jam.
would be-
Where's he going to
upside
play?
now.
Where's he going to play, Aaron? There's no space for him.
He'll play on the wing.
Play
Come on,
defense.
man. He'll play on the wing.
Play defense.
David Wenberg on the third line.
Four forwards, one defenseman. Let's go.
Yeah, sure. It's fine.
We
Totally.
do need some penalty killers.
Yeah.
Oh, well, talk about that a little later.
You know, actually, I don't know when our guest is coming. Our guest is coming soon. Otherwise, in about 5 minutes. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the targets that the Sharks might have. And you talked about penalty kill. Actually, Super Producer Jason's checking that. I'm so sorry, guys. No, we're not. There's one guy I think might be able to help the Sharks out. He's a pretty high-skilled guy, but he's known more for his speed, his forechecking, and his defensive play, and that's Jack Roslovic.
Oh, yeah.
He's a 20-goal scorer. He's a UFA this season, but he's known for having a really good back check, and he's known for being feisty. So, I don't know. I think that's a guy that maybe the Sharks could target. Would he go on like a second or third line? I don't know, right?
I don't think, probably not second line. Well, he could fill in. He'd be one of those guys that probably pencil it in on the third line, but could fill in for injuries on the second line. Or, a bad night for someone on the second line. They get bumps, and he's now up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like, we have gaps defensively clearly, right? But it's not always the defensemen. A lot of times it's the forwards missing their assignments or being too young or whatever the case is. Jack Roslovic, I think he's 28 years old. I can check my notes, but he's a big boy too.
Yes.
So I think he actually would fit the bill really nicely in the UFA market for what the Sharks need. Now the Sharks can offer more money than pretty much anybody else right now. I'm not saying throw the farm at the guy.
They are pretty far from the floor. They have to spend X amount of dollars.
Just
I want
bought
to say it's $20 million.
Just bought out Mark-Edouard Vlasic.
Yeah, the
didn't
buyout
need to.
saved about $2 million. It wasn't like a huge significant jump, but it's kind of odd. And it was official that he was bought out today.
Yes.
Yesterday he went on waivers. Today he was officially bought out. Nobody claimed him. I don't know why, but nobody claimed him.
That sounds rude.
Sorry.
Sounds like you're trying to be rude right now.
Sorry.
To the legend, okay?
Oh, do you see right there?
1,300 games. Yeah. Misa, Frundell talk will be very similar to Fantilli,
Yes.
Carlson, Smith. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And you know, I've certainly said my piece about Will Smith and Fantilli, and what was the other name? I forget now.
Carlson.
Carlson.
Leo Carlson.
They've already had NHL games under their belt prior to and everything else. So, I think that discussion's going to go on for a while until one of them emerges or whatever. I believe in Will Smith. I do. I just think that he really could have been better served with some time outside of going to the NHL there. He did go to the NC2A, but frankly, as we saw in the beginning, the first half of the season didn't really pan out that well. When Celebrini hit his stride in the midseason, that's when Will Smith started hitting his stride. So I don't think that Will Smith is cut out right now to be a center. I think he continues to play on the wing. I know they're saying he's going to be a center next season, but if Misa comes in and is ready to go, I don't know. I don't know that you put him.
I think you.
I was
keep
gonna say,
him.
Sure, yeah, you flip him around. Yeah.
One of them's on the wing, one of them's the center. Probably
other
Smith
night.
to start, just because
they
Misa's going
said
to need
it.
to get adjusted.
Yeah. And that's assuming Misa even jumped straight in.
Right.
He's a young guy just like Macklin was.
Yeah.
Not everybody's Macklin Celebrini. He's going to have a hard time jumping straight in with full-grown men.
No, yeah, it seemed like a tough adjustment. I've never been there. I've never been at that type of level where it's just like, oh yeah, 18, 19 years old, come on in and play professional hockey or any professional sport. I've never been at that level. But one thing, so Will Smith, I know you talked about how he kind of hit his stride when Celebrini was.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna fill some time. He's just a different type of player than Celebrini. So I think
Absolutely.
he doesn't. I think we all need to kind of just know that he's not Celebrini. He's never. I shouldn't say that. There's a pick coming in. He's not that type of player. Like, he's not gonna have as many hits, or as many points, probably, or as many blocks, or do all those type of things. But he's gonna be a solid player, and I feel like that's what you two indoctrinated in me by listening to what you. He's gonna be a solid player. He's not gonna probably be a superstar, a generational talent, a foundational talent, but he's gonna be a great complementary piece.
Yes.
So if that means that he takes a back seat to maybe Misa, then so be it. We gotta do what's best for the team.
I will 100% agree with that. You got to do what's best for the team. And right now, what's best for this show
Let's go.
is to take a short
Yes,
break.
yes.
Because we have another guest coming on in just a minute. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and yes, we got Scott Hannan. Scott, I think you've been on the show more than anybody else that we've had as a guest on the show. This is your third or fourth time.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Absolutely.
Now, right? Hey, you gotta
we love having him here.
I love being here, guys. I love being here.
If you love having him in the show, guys, please put it down in the chat. If you don't, please don't put it down in the chat. Aaron, go ahead. Fire away, buddy.
All right, what do you think of the pick? Misa, second overall.
I love it, man. He's a big guy, 200-foot game. Obviously can put the puck in the net. I think it's a great addition to the plethora of picks we have and everything. The guys that are up and coming from their prospect pool. You love the steps that the team took last year. I think the future's bright. We keep saying that, and it's getting closer and closer.
Do you see Thornton, Celebrini as the Thornton, and Misa as the Marlowe?
Oh man, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what Mac did last year, the way he stepped in. There's been a lot of talk. You talk about the impressive 200-foot game, and that's what impressed me so much about him. He's got a high engine. He doesn't quit working.
Yeah.
He's passionate. He's compete levels off the charts. And I think if you look at guys in the past, I know there are a lot of comparisons with Crosby, and that's a really high bar. But when you look at that, when you're trying to create teams and you look at that, you have a guy with that type of compete level. It just makes everybody around him better.
I've said before too, we always talk about careers guys, and it always comes back to those big body, hard-working, put your work boots on. But I think putting the work boots on part is the biggest thing out of any of them. You can be a smaller guy, but you have a good engine and you're willing to work hard, just like William Eklund is, and Victor Eklund, by the way. Those guys, those to me are the Greer's guys. So just kind of your thoughts on that. Is Misa one of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, those guys sit in the study room and they watch a lot of videos. They have the interviews. They see him play every single time.
Yeah.
Nothing is hidden anymore. And I think the NHL, what you're really finding, you look at Florida and the way they're run to the playoffs, the back-to-back championships, and you look at how important that 200-foot game and everybody pulling in the same direction. You can't have an outlier inside of that, and you have to have 20 guys pulling the same way. And when you have a top guy, and we talk about the compete level and everything like that, brings it to practice, brings it to training, walks in the door, and everybody that walks into that door, we had it when I played with Jumbo and Patty. You walk in there, they're upstairs in the first in the weight room, last to leave. So everybody that walks through that door has to do that.
Good
And
example.
that's an important piece of the puzzle when you're building championships, and you see it. It makes a coach's job easier when your star players are your hardest workers and you have your highest compete level.
All right, do you have a favorite prospect that's in the organization but not on the Sharks yet that you think is going to make a major impact when they make the team?
I have to be honest with the defenseman, and I think Dickinson.
There you
I
go.
think right there, you got a
He
big.
was going to say
I
Dickinson.
figured.
Come on.
I did not feed him the answer.
Yeah. I mean, look at I played a long time on the back end. I've watched him play, and it's exciting to see that come in. I mean, we know it hasn't been hidden in the past what the Sharks need, right? We saw that last year. We saw that. We know that it needed. And having him come in, he's a big, strong guy. He can play on the offensive side of things. I'm excited at Dev Camp next week to see him come in, and then to see what happens, this year at camp and on forward from there.
I wanted to ask you, and I'm going to ask our next guest, I'm going to ask him the same thing. But draft day, is it stressful for established players, guys who have already got their contracts, because they might be on the move to try to move up or down in draft position? You have the trade deadline where everybody's kind of a little panicky. Are days like this the same for established players?
I don't think so. I mean, when I played, you're focused so much on yourself and what you need to do over the summer and what you need to do to get yourself better. There is a level of, guys that are coming in that compete level, and that's the same thing. But, some of us are so focused on ourselves in the summer and what we're training on to become better for the next year and how we can add to the team, that when we come in here, that's the last thing. We know that every year you come in, you got guys competing for your spots. I tell the kids that I train right now at the Junior Sharks, you're competing against one berth year. You get to junior, it's 4.
Yeah.
You get to college, it's bigger. And then you get to pros, you're competing against 20 different berth years if you're lucky enough to play at 45 like Patty Marlowe, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that's just part of it. And you come in with that same mentality, and we talk about the same work ethic and that compete. You got to bring it all the time.
Cool. Where can Sharks fans find you this season? Are you going to be doing any broadcasts or anything? Is that a bad question?
No, not at all. I love working the broadcast. I love being with Dan. I love being, a part of that crew. I love watching the games. I know that I took on a lot this year running the Junior Sharks now, and a lot of my time and my focus will be there.
Yeah.
Now I'm coaching 2 teams and also overseeing about 34 teams. So when you start doing that and you're at the rink, I think I just finished about 28 days straight. We just went through tryouts, and I'm going to jump on whenever I can at the home games and whenever my schedule allows. But looking at my schedule, it was looking pretty thick already. So I'll get out there when I can. Like I said, I love those guys, and it was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. You brought up Sam Dickinson because you're a defenseman, talking about defenseman. I'd like you to talk just a few words about another defenseman. 1,300 games in the NHL. Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Sharks just announced they were buying him out. Can you just say a few things about his career, what he's meant to this city and this franchise?
Yeah, I mean, he's meant so much. I mean, when he broke into the league, I was his first D partner. Saw him come in at 19 years old, and right from the time he was 19 years old, so composed, and he was a cornerstone of this franchise for a long time. You look at what he was able to accomplish internationally, and here the games he played. I think it just goes to show you how special of a player he was, and it's an unfortunate part of the business. We all get told at some point that kind of stuff happens, but I mean, when you look at what he did for this organization over the long haul and the amount of games he played, it's pretty special to accomplish those types of things, and he's a great player, a great person.
Well, you did mention that he was your first D partner. He was known for his defensive play. That must make you the offensive defenseman, am I
right? Maybe back when I was a peewee.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, 12U.
Way back.
So you can relate with the kids. That's great.
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic. Hey, guys, we want to respect your time. We'll get you moving on to the next one. But, again, Scott Hannan, the most tenured guest we've ever had on the show, I believe. I hope you guys appreciated that. I hope you enjoyed that. Scott, any last words for everybody?
Go Sharks.
Go Sharks. I love it. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Again, hopefully you enjoyed that interview. I think it's like the 4th or 5th interview with him. He's been on the show quite a bit.
Yeah, he was there when we did our hockey training.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, at Kathy's Power
He's been
Station.
here the last 2 years that we've been here, and he's been on the show before that.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Oh my God, he's been on a lot.
A lot. So, again, thanks to the Sharks organization for giving us the opportunity to do this and to talk with Scott and Tom. And we'll be talking with somebody else. You'll have to stick around to figure out who that is. But first, first I want to say is behind me what happened. Porter Martone went to the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, everything that they said about Martone, and in fact, they liken him to Corey Perry as a comparable. To me, that is a Philadelphia Flyers player right there, right? That's the type of player they're looking for.
Yeah.
What happened? Are we good? Okay, sorry. I thought we had a little blip. We're good. But yeah, that to me is the type of player that the Philadelphia Flyers are looking for. Hefty, hard, goes hard,
Gritty, right? That
right?
grit. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a copycat league, right? What won the league the last 2 years in a row?
Absolutely.
Florida Panthers and their pestiness, right?
Yeah.
They're high skill, as Scott Hannan said, 200-foot game, and they are nasty, right?
Yeah.
And they just added to that nasty with Marchand at the trade deadline.
I
So that team was just stupid stacked against the Oilers. So yeah, now you're going to see a lot more teams that are going to want that. It's a copycat league.
For those following along, I remember Denoyer went number 4. I imagine Higgins went 5. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it was a different guy.
It was somebody else?
Yeah, it was somebody else.
Oh, boy.
I saw a different name.
Higgins is tumbling right now.
Yeah, it wasn't
He's
that.
tumbling.
It
He
was
should have gone
somebody
number 3.
You think he'll go 30th?
I don't think he's going 30th.
else. Come on, just keep rolling.
If anything, I hope it pushes everybody else down and Eklund goes 30th.
Okay, here
I'll
we
take
go.
that. But, Debbie's... Debbie got a little red in the face with, I don't know, we're broadcasting like 20 people, don't worry about it. A little red in the face, it's okay.
Debbie, it's
She's
not
a
me. I still
super
want
fan.
cookies.
If Scott Hannan has to be watching this, you made her day, and maybe more than that. But regardless, I don't know, we want to talk about a little bit of the trade targets maybe.
Sure.
We're talking
Not
about...
so much trade, but free agent signings.
I'm sorry, but I wish you could see this one. She's covering her face. We talked a little bit about... She just told me I was the number 1 pick with both hands.
Two times.
So we talked about this before already, but Dobson obviously not a guy that's going to end up in a Sharks uniform. They did have the offer on the table to the Sharks, number 2 for Dobson. Mike Grier said, not having it, and I agree with that. However, that was one of the guys that you had speculated maybe the Sharks would go after. Not going to be the case. Another guy that you thought the Sharks would go after, that unfortunately for you, not the case, John Tavares.
Yes.
John Tavares just signed a 4-year, I think 17-point-whatever million dollar contract. Seemed a bit of a discount there.
Better than his, what was it, $7 or $8 million a year, I think, before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he took a little bit. I mean, he is older,
Yeah.
but he's still close to a point per game player for how old he is. It's pretty amazing. So yeah, I was hoping that the Sharks would sign him as a 3-year deal, second line center for this year.
Yeah.
And then bounce to the third line center once Wenberg was gone and take over that role. But now they have Misa in the wings for that third line center, but just more centers. I don't think it's going to be necessary, obviously. And he signed with Toronto, so that went out the window. So glad we're talking about it.
You know, speaking of Toronto, Joe Thornton, and we'll talk a little bit more about him and the Hall of Fame stuff. Well, he was on his way, he was flying, I believe, from Arizona before he got the call. That's why he couldn't pick up the phone. And the question was raised, the heck is Jumbo doing in Arizona? Now, there's a player that he happened to play with from Arizona.
I thought it was Texas.
No, his name is Austin. That's
No,
Austin,
no.
Texas.
I thought he was visiting with Burns.
No, I don't think so. I think it was, no. See, even Debbie's saying no. Debbie
right.
knows. Debbie follows this one too. So,
All
Love
her
you,
business
Debbie.
out in the
I'm giving all the secrets away. I'm sorry. Super producer Jason trying to hand Debbie the bell. No, Austin Matthews, Arizona native, right? The running theory is that Jumbo's trying to get into Austin Matthews' ear, along with Mitch Marner,
Marner.
to get Marner to sign here in San Jose, to then get
Aaron's face.
Matthews to come here in San
After?
Jose. And I'm like, I don't think that's just too much for me. I love speculation and I love like GMing, but that's a little too much for me.
That's a lot of telephone.
Went to Boston, by the way. I think
Higgins to
that
Boston.
tinfoil hat needs to come off. That's a
I
bit
think so
much.
too.
That's the meme of the guy with all the stuff up on the wall right now. Like, this has to happen, and this is going to happen, this.
Connect the dots. You gotta connect the dots.
Yeah. So I don't believe that for a second, but I'm trying to fill some time. And
Well, yeah, why not?
I thought
Yeah, of course.
That was interesting that people kind of immediately went there. You know?
You know, I roast this up in the fantasy league for the Fin Factor fantasy league, not our league. But there's so much speculation and all this stuff leading up into the draft. Who's gonna pick who's gonna trade who's gonna do all this and all this. I'm like, oh my, this day, like, it's so much that it's overload. Now I used to do that, like probably 15 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah,
like I would
yeah.
always because I was bored. I'm trying to.
What
fill
about if we do
time.
this? What
It's
about if we do
fun.
that? Yeah.
Right, now it's like, oh man, it's so much that I'm so glad that the day is finally here.
Yeah.
And so far there have been 0 trades during the draft. There's not a lot of trades usually in the draft.
Yeah.
And so far we've had none. We had one, I guess, earlier before for Dobson.
Yeah.
But that wasn't during the draft.
Not during
Yeah.
the draft.
I don't know. Do you prefer it this way? Do you think it's more entertaining? Obviously, it's more entertaining when the guys at trades are going left and
Right.
right. But
I
this
like
might be
it.
indicative of guys getting the players that they want. They don't need to move.
Right. I mean, it's so much filler leading up to the event, right? Of just all of these things.
Weeks and
Right.
weeks and weeks. And so many tweets you gotta read. So many articles that are coming out. You're like, is this reputable? Like, who's putting this tweet out? Who's putting this little news out? This little nugget out of, oh yeah. And then you're like, if you see something that you do like, you're like, well, maybe I'll dig a little bit on that. Maybe they will do that.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
they
takes
can
a
do
lot,
that.
right?
Yeah.
There's 5 different steps to get that player to
Yeah,
San Jose.
exactly. Just like Paul said. Jumbo talks to Austin, talks to Marner.
Maybe he
and
was-
then Marner talks back, and then we get them both. We get them both coming in.
Maybe Jumbo was just visiting his friends.
Wants to play some golf?
Right.
Golf? I don't know.
Hey Jumbo, let's go play some golf. All right.
Yeah.
Now there's 10 articles
No,
online about how he
absolutely.
met
He
with
was in
Austin.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Write an article right now.
I mean, it's kind of hard for Jumbo to go incognito with that giant
Yeah.
beard.
Yeah.
If he shaved that thing off, I don't think most people would recognize him anymore.
Oh, I would. 100% I would.
most
yeah.
people.
No,
Said
so
most
you're not
people.
representing
Said
them.
most people.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? We are
this is
going to
awesome.
cut that conversation
Yes,
right here.
yes. We're getting you
got-
in here. We're gonna get you
We
in here.
got
Don't
our
worry.
next guest stepped in. He's a wild man.
Oh, this
Stick
is
around.
awesome. This is great. Come right back.
Hopefully he stuck around, because like I said, he was a wild man. The reason I said the wild man, when he walked in the door, he was throwing punches and kicks, trying to knock all the equipment over. Thankfully, he was just having some fun there. Dan, nice to have you back on the show, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I golfed today. I played great. Happy to be here. And, again, another positive day in Shark Teal here. We're moving forward.
Absolutely.
Scott Hannan wanted me to specifically ask how golf was today.
I shot 73. That's really good. I played great, so I'm I'm coming in feeling pretty good about myself.
Nice. All right, I got a couple questions for you. What do you think of the pick of getting Misa on the Sharks?
So, I would be lying if I was like, oh, I don't know. I know what I read.
Yeah.
Who the scouts are telling me sounds like obviously a centerman. Centerman is a very important position. I think it's a great pick. I think it was the consensus number 2 pick. That's who we all thought we were going to get. Obviously with Celebrini here, we're getting stronger down the middle and up front, and I love the pick.
So I didn't overthink it, didn't mess it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it's pretty clear 1-2, unless you're getting a Ransom's fortune, I think you got to go with the guys that are going to turn your team around, and it seems like he's one of those players.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, because I asked Hannan about draft day, and if it's stressful for established players, because sometimes trades happen. We saw Noah Dobson go earlier, right? So I was going to ask you about that. Now, you were actually traded to the Sharks, thankfully, July 4th, America's birthday, in 2008. You came and you were a huge part of the franchise, but that was a trade that happened right after free agency. There are some trades that are happening usually at trade deadline day. Is it a stressful time, this stretch, a week or two?
It can be. My trade to the Sharks, I had what was called a no trade clause, so I got to pick where I wanted to go. So on draft day, I wasn't as anxious as some of the other guys were, because there's a lot of trades that are going to happen, that happened yesterday, that are going to happen today. So you can get a little anxious and nervous. But thankfully for me, back in the day, I was kind of in control of where I wanted to go, and thankfully I ended up here. So, but it certainly can be for those guys that are kind of on the cusp, on the bubble of getting traded. A lot of people get excited, but they forget there's families, there's schools, there's doctors, there's friends, your home. It's a pretty nerve-wracking time.
Do you kind of have a sense during the locker clear out if you're going to be one of those guys that might be on the move?
You usually do. I want to say most GMs are honest. I think a few might not be, but sometimes things happen from the time you leave the arena at the end of the year to draft day. Things can happen. So I'd like to think a lot of guys know they might be getting traded, but once in a blue moon, it does happen when you're not even expecting it.
Very good. CBA. You want me to ask that one? Go for it. I'm going to ask this one. Okay. So the new CBA gets rid of the mandatory team dress code, and Aaron speculated that it might be to get more personalities out in front, right? Front and center.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you see it? What's your take on that?
My take on, I love it because I hated wearing suits, not as much of a personality thing.
Okay.
I hated wearing suits personally, but I see it in other sports. I don't think you're going to see it as much in hockey. I think hockey players are built a little differently than some of the other sports. You're not going to see the flair as much, but you're going to get some personalities come out here and there on a few teams, or a few guys on most teams, and I like the move, and hopefully the guys like it too.
Nice. Marc-Edouard Vlasic just got bought out today officially.
Okay.
Do you have any words to say about Marc-Edouard Vlasic, what he means to the franchise, what he's done in his career?
Yeah, I mean, again, I played with him. He was my partner for a few years. Not too many guys can say they played that long, and not very few can say they played with one team for that long. Obviously, was a huge part of this team his whole time here. Even, last couple of years, maybe not as much, but a great player, great teammate, and I don't know what the future holds for him. I don't know if he wants to keep on playing or if he's done. But obviously a big part of this organization, and hopefully he sticks around.
I think it's funny you said you actually partnered with him at one point.
Yeah.
Hanner said he was Pickle's first partner. So it's funny because, number one, how many defensemen did Marc-Edouard Vlasic play with in his career, right? Because he must have played with a lot of different defensemen.
19 years? Is that what he played?
Yeah.
19? I mean, I would say there's probably a handful of years where he was stuck with one guy, one person. I was one of them. Most years you'll end up, being bounced around a little bit. But yeah, he's obviously he was a stay-at-home D-man, and when I played with him, I knew he had my back, and I could go out there, do my thing, and he was kind of one of those guys that just you could trust him.
Well, I was joking with Hanner a little bit earlier. I said, well, he was the defensive stalwart. That must have made you the offensive defenseman, right? He laughed a little bit. But you were truly one of the first, I think, pure offensive defensemen for the San Jose Sharks. I remember getting you, and I was so happy that you were part of the franchise. If I remember, you were with me, too, because we used to play NHL together as kids. Dan Boyle joined the team. We were so happy about that, yeah.
I remember Ozelinch when I used to watch the Sharks back in the day, but wasn't here around long. And then right before me, there was a guy named Brian Campbell, and a lot of people. He was only here for a year, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, we're gonna miss him."
Yeah.
And then I came around, and then I think that hopefully I won the fans over. Got to show them that Brian Campbell is very good, but I'd like to think that I held my own as well.
Would you mind? I had Tom Peterson here. We had the Green
yeah.
Biscuit. I want you guys to see that the alums still got it. So, Aaron, if you could help me out. I brought my own stick. Thankfully.
Well, that might be a problem.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem for you maybe here. Aaron's going to hold the mic for you. There you go. I've got my shooter pad here. We're going to lay it down here like this. Yeah, right here. I just want to see it. I'm going to go up against the wall, though, bud. There you go. And then we'll give you. What do you want? There you go. Let's see it. Why wouldn't I face the camera? I just want to see if you still got it. That's all. There you go. Do it however you want. However you want. Let's see it. Now
And keep your heads up, kids.
Oh, there you go.
Don't look down.
Oh no! Now Pederson had a really nasty toe drag. Oh, that's the shootout move right there.
Hold on. Peterson had a nasty
Oh yeah. Oh, hold on. We're caught. There
This
you go.
is Green Biscuit.
Yeah.
So toe drag.
Yep. There you go. Oh.
See, I'm trying to look at
He's
the
too
camera
strong,
before.
folks.
I'm
He's
not
just
used
too
to the
strong.
Green Biscuit. That's why. That's the toe drag. So when I came in on a shootout, I used to always fake high glove, back, and then high glove again. So it used to be like this.
I love it. Getting the shootout tutorial.
Probably like 30% on that.
There was, you can grab the mic. There was one shootout I remember where you came in and you did this thing with your neck like this. I don't know what it was.
Well, the idea is the goalies. You talk to goalies and
Okay.
you try to get their feedback on what they're seeing, and a lot of guys will look at your eyes.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if you're aiming or looking left but shooting right, they may buy
I
that.
gotcha.
And sometimes all it takes is a little head bob or a head fake, and they think you're going that way. So who knows? I was probably just faking somebody
Reminds
out.
me of those
I'm not
videos
sure if
where-
it worked or not. But
Those videos where they're holding the hand and they're going like this and the head staying
it's like a magician. You're like, look over here, but you're
Guys,
heading over there.
fantastic interview with Dan Boyle. If you appreciate that, put it in the comments down in there. Dan, again, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. We'll be right back. back once again. Hopefully you guys saw that last interview with Dan Boyle. I tell you, when he came in, I said a madman. He was swinging his arms and his legs. I was worried he was going to knock everything over.
He was feeling himself.
Oh, yeah, he was having a good time.
After that shot, 73 shot at the golf course today, yeah.
Good for him, buddy. And he kept knocking the puck off of. It's because he's too strong. Okay, it's because he's too strong.
He's not used to the biscuit. He's used to a real puck.
No, he's used to the real weighted puck.
Right.
So I want to hear any back talk from you guys. Thank you, Boiler. Absolutely, I will let him know later. I guess. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about the CBA. They've had new CBA for the 26-27 season.
Right.
So it's not this upcoming one, but the one after. So, just kind of interesting. They're going to go to an 84-game format. Pretty crazy. They're going to add a couple games to it. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe that's opposed to 82.
Yeah.
There's normally 82, but back in the 94 season, I think when Pederson was playing, they had an 84-game season.
Yeah.
It was 84 games. So they're going to reduce the number of preseason games down to 4. And if you played over, was it 100 games?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Max,
You only have to play 2 of those games. Because a lot of the veterans are just like, I don't want to play those preseason games.
Yeah.
It's just more wear and tear on their bodies. Plus, they're coming into camp in shape now, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're really don't really need the preseason games to get up to speed. So, prevents a little more injuries.
Yeah.
Now they'll get injured during the regular season instead of the preseason. And adding a couple more games.
Hold on.
So we happen to have a surprise guest that just walked in. I think what we'll do, we'll shelve the CBA talk. We'll be right back in like a minute, and we'll add him onto the set here.
Sure.
Is that good?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll be right back, guys.
Welcome back. We have Alan Hoshida joining us this time.
Hello.
He's down at the desk right below us. He's just out of our shot. He's got a little, it's like a setup down there, right?
Yeah, a little meet and greet, saying hi, smiling, kissing babies.
Yeah.
Oh, whole thing.
Perfect. I text him and say, hey, come on up. Let's have a talk.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think of the Misa pick, the second overall pick for the Sharks?
I really like the pick, though I was warming up to Anton Frandel because that's all we heard for the last 48 hours.
Yep.
But Misa, I think, has the higher ceiling and I think has probably the safer floor. So when you add that with the guys they already have, I think they're going to be a dynamic up front. And you also have the Chernyshovs, the Musties, the Haltonens. They're all coming. And so I think it was a great pick.
Oh, good segue here. Who is your favorite prospect that's in the organization that's not currently on the Sharks team that you're excited to see make the team?
has everyone said Dickinson?
That was the other one, yeah.
I mean, Dickinson, the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to see what he's doing. He put up over 100 points basically in the juniors. Mike Greer already said that he can't do anything else in juniors. So it sounds like they're going to give him the Mac and Will treatment and have him kind of learn on the fly, which it's not a bad thing. Their defensive core can only get better. So why not give a guy that they think is going to be the future back there?
I mean, they're basically giving him, not the keys, but they're giving him an opportunity.
Yeah.
And if he fails, then sure, he'll go back down the OHL. But most likely he's going to be sticking around.
And he can't go to the AHL.
Right.
He's not. He's already signed his entry-level deal. So what else are you going to do?
Yeah, he's stuck. Or it's either that or OHL, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like those are your only two options.
You just destroyed the OHL.
Yeah,
There's
you're
nothing
not going
left
to
for
do
him to
anything. Like,
Yeah.
your confidence is going to be sky high,
Right.
and they already won. They won the Memorial Cup too.
Yep.
So on a team front, there's nothing really left for him to accomplish either. So yeah, I think Dickinson starts with the Sharks, and he's going to ride it out. And we might see what we saw with Will early on, some days off.
Yep. Perfect. All right. What do you think the Sharks are going to do with the 30th overall pick that they have coming up?
I would be surprised if they actually make the selection at 30.
Okay.
Now maybe they package it with one of their seconds and move up a few slots, or they're at 30 and maybe trade for someone they think can help them out. It's probably a bottom six forward at that pick. I don't know the value of the 30 overall, but I kind of would be surprised if they go 30 there, unless one of the guys that they really like happens to slide and he's sitting there.
Right. Then they go after him.
Then they go after him. But overall, I just don't know what you're going to get at the 30 that's going to help you right now. You have the number one prospect pool.
Yeah.
And in this draft process, everything's been about the forwards and Schaefer. The D men have been lacking, apparently. But, it's a draft. Guys are going to hit who don't hit. Guys are not going to hit who you think are supposed to hit. So maybe they get a gem right there, too.
Perfect.
I basically just said everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
You covered all the bases.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite prospect that's not a defenseman that's coming up?
I want to see Haltonen.
Yeah?
I think if you put him on the power play, probably 2 unit, because of just the talent they're going to have up front, but he's just going to rock it.
Yes.
He's going to be the Sharks' OV.
Yeah.
Lofty expectations, kid. Go get him.
Yeah.
But I think he had a great Memorial Cup playoffs. He had hat tricks back-to-back games. He started with the CUDA last year. Let's see him up here.
And he's got some chemistry with Dickinson because he just played with him.
Yeah. Whoa, Misa and Chernyshov also, too.
That's true,
Like,
yes.
The CUDA next year are going to have Musty, Chernyshov, Haltonen all there. So if you can't make it to a Sharks game, you know where to go next.
Yes. Very excited. The Barracuda are amazing. And the new arena, new-ish arena.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a couple years old now, but great place to watch a game.
Yeah.
Very affordable, and you are very close to the action.
You feel it. You feel it for
Yeah.
sure.
It's fantastic. All right. Well, anything else you want to leave us with?
No, there's a meet and greet. Everyone say hi. I'm just excited to meet all the fans and ask them why they like being a Sharks fan, their favorite moments, and the kids. It's always good seeing the kids. They don't care about me. They just want to be up on the desk and hold the mic, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much, Alan, for joining us. Good to see you, and I'm sure we'll have you again on the. There goes the stick.
Let's do it.
On the season on the show.
Let's go.
Thanks.
Okay, and we are back. That was totally unexpected. We didn't think Alan Hoshida was going to come up and grace us with his presence here today, but that was fantastic. Obviously, I took a little bit of a break trying to get my voice back. Devereaux, fantastic job sitting in.
You're right. I was miming and doing sign language. Yes. Oh, yeah. It was great.
He stole your mic.
It's okay.
Anyway, yeah. So before we start talking a little bit more about the CBA stuff, because that's what we were going to do, I do want to just state real quick that the Pittsburgh Penguins are making picks right now. I said picks because they have 2 in a row. Draft picks, I believe it's 11 and 12, is it? Yeah, 11 and 12. So, okay, good. So,
okay, good. He already.
Victor Eklund is still on the board. Pittsburgh doesn't need to have 2 picks back to back. I would love to see them go, we could trade one, right?
They definitely need 2 picks back to back.
No, they don't.
That team did not make the playoffs.
No, they don't.
They were
They're fine.
very good last year.
You know what they need?
They're aging cores.
You know what they need?
The San Jose Sharks of 2020.
They need more hits. So what they should do is trade the later of the 2 picks, obviously, right? Okay, good for them, a later pick, okay. For the 2 hits that they could have for the Sharks at the end of the first, the 30th and the 33rd, along with a guy who just needs a change of scenery, maybe like a Daniil Gushin, right?
I think he was on Facebook earlier posting
Just
stuff.
saying.
He
No,
was
this isn't Facebook. This is from my brain.
Uh-oh. That's even worse.
Nightmare in there.
That's even worse.
It's bad. But I'm basically I think the show's going to go until Victor Eklund's off the board, and then there's just no way we can wait till the 30th. But regardless, we're going to go ahead and chat a little bit about the CBA stuff that's happening here. So again, we talked a little bit about it before Alan came in. 84 game regular season, a 4-game preseason. The weird thing about this one is, if you're played over 100 games, you can only play 2 games during the preseason. You know what I don't like about that is if you've got 100 games under your belt, but you're going to a new team, for instance, maybe you need those games to start gelling with your defensive partner. We just had some guys on here who were defensive partners for a long time. I think if they had just gotten traded over like Dan Boyle had, it would be really nice for them to be able to get a couple more than 2 games under their belt during the preseason.
Aaron,
I don't know.
Figure it out.
They're veterans. If they're getting traded and they're a veteran, they know how to play in the NHL. I think that'd be fine.
100 games. If someone's got 101 games, I don't know if they're a veteran. That's all I'm saying.
They're fine. They'll be fine.
Okay, never mind. They're fine.
Talking,
talking point over. Thanks,
They'll
Aaron.
figure it out. Okay, they'll figure it out.
So, done with that one, I guess. Max contract length has been lowered from 8 down to 7, unless you're in the free agent market, and it drops down from 7 down to 6. So basically just subtracting 1 year off of that. I do like this because it's in line with Mike Greer's whole idea. He doesn't want to have to pay anybody for super long term.
I wonder if Mike Greer wrote this one.
Oh, yeah.
He just passed it along.
You idiots. Stop handing out these 8-year contracts. You're handcuffing yourself, and you're getting stuck with these contracts, and you can't move them. So,
I think it was Luongo had a 12-year deal, and I think it was Kovalchuk had a 15-year.
15, and then Rick DiPietro, remember the goalie from the Islanders, 2000, 15-year deal?
Yeah.
15 years.
You must have had a lot of faith.
They took him number 1 overall, and it obviously didn't work out.
Pan out. Yeah.
They traded away Luongo. Did they have Luongo? To make
they traded him away.
That didn't work out well.
No,
for the Islanders.
They had their name tied to some of the longest contracts in NHL history. That's amazing.
Kovalchuk was in New Jersey, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
And then that was when he was with. Was that when he was coming over, or was he already with Atlanta, and then they signed him?
Because he was 30, and he signed a 15-year contract. And everyone was like,
that seems fishy.
I don't think he's playing the 45.
But also, the new CBA also deferred. You can't defer the money now either, right? So
just like they saw, the Dodgers did with
Shohei Ohtani, but let's not talk about.
NHL was like, no. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly. No. Where's the money at?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, pay that money right now.
Yes.
Yeah, on the books right now.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
It's also about time that the NHL said, I know what you're doing with the long-term IR playoff loophole.
Hiding players.
I don't know the details of it. Maybe you guys do. But supposedly they've closed this loophole. Mark Stone, in your face.
Closed? I wouldn't say it's closed.
Okay. Well, they said closing.
They're trying to.
Overselling it,
First attempt. Yeah. Apparently, the roster that you're starting with in the playoffs has to be the one that you have ending the regular season with, which means they can't be on long-term IR. So the last day of the season, they'll have to pull him off. They'll have to do some kind of movement or something. It kind of curtails it, but I think you can still probably work around it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you just can't pull the player like, oh, on the second round of the playoffs, here comes this player who we've been sandbagging or kind of hiding for 60 days, kind of a thing. Okay.
So I'm in favor of that. I don't like the
There's a trade.
shenanigans. What's that?
There's a trade. To the they traded
Penguins traded the pick.
to the
No.
to the
to the
no to the right behind the Sharks.
Okay.
Right behind the
So they
Traded
traded
2 first-round picks. 2 later first-round picks.
Boy, does that sound familiar.
You think they're going after Eklund? So they have 2 nasty boys on their team now. He sounds like a Philadelphia Flyer to me.
Eklund, well, he's a little on the smaller side. I think Porter Martone fits that bill a little bit
Now
better.
you're talking him down.
No. I'm saying in terms of Philadelphia, what Philadelphia is looking, generally what they look for. You know, they look for the big body thing. We talked about legacy earlier, right? It doesn't matter who they are now. It matters what they always will be.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Flyers are that type of team to me, right? So I think they got the pick right with Porter Martone.
Yeah.
Denayer would have been great for them too, I'm sure, but I think Victor Eklund is the type of player. I just don't know if he's the size of player, and hopefully they overlook the size and it keeps sliding.
How big is your favorite Philadelphia Flyers player? That Mitchkov guy. How big is that guy? Is he a big guy? A little guy?
He's a big guy. He's a big dude.
boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well.
Yeah, see, they have a skill guy like
I
that.
was
They
gonna
don't
say,
need Eklund.
yeah. Wow.
That's a pipe dream. I'm hoping it's not going to happen, but
I wonder how many trades that the Penguins and the Flyers have ever done. That seems like a very. I'm surprised that they would make that trade.
I mean, the Sharks and the Knights did a trade for Hurdle, right?
Well, that was. I mean,
anything's
It's
possible.
like trading to the Kings, right?
Yeah.
Interstate rivalry.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay. I'm just kind of okay.
All right. Aaron, you'll be very happy to hear about this one. There is now going to be a full-time e-bug position.
I knew you'd go with that.
We'll get you back into khakis. We got Hanner over here earlier.
There's
we'll
hope.
get Boiler out
There's
here too.
There's hope that I can play professionally still.
There you go.
We'll see.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I
Just
think
for
you
one
can.
game, right?
One warm-up.
Yeah.
Shots.
One more.
Just the whole time.
I don't know. Eyes closed.
I would love to have a camera and mic up for that.
That would be
whole
awesome.
thing. That would be amazing. Get a GoPro inside my helmet.
You know what? We got bet. Yeah, bet. Hey, no, he already lost the bet. We skipped over it.
Oh.
So we need to revisit that.
I still think I would do better than you think I would.
I think you would do horribly, and you think that you're better because you're a soccer goalie.
I would do better than I think I would with no skates on. Putting on skates is going to ruin it for me. I'm just going to fall.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Give me some
That's a fair
spiked
point.
shoes.
Yo,
I was going to say, what do you want?
Like, you need some like Carhartt steel toe, whatever those ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those work boots. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you need if you're gonna do that. Anyway, hopefully we can actually get Hannan to because he's been with us enough times. I think he likes us.
Tell him
you know?
once that you get to shoot on me. He's like, oh, I'm in.
yeah.
He's
I'm
definitely
in.
in.
Yeah.
Boyle's going to come in
Boyle,
too. He's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Just what Aaron needs. Fuller going to have to explain to his wife and kids.
Oh, man. Good thing I work a desk job and don't have to move.
Yeah. There you go. Victor Eklund's still on the board. The pick is in with the Philadelphia Flyers. I am not very happy right now, but it is what it is. Again, we talked about this with Dan Boyle just a little bit. No mandatory team dress code, which, again, you go ahead and you can make your point on this one.
Well, I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, I didn't realize that was an issue to be put in there. That's something that they fought for, obviously.
Yeah.
So, like he said, he hated wearing suits. So now we're going to see probably some crazy stuff. I mean, not crazy per se, like, I don't know, tracksuits or like.
I mean,
Tracksuits, that's Evander Kane territory.
Jeans.
So I
Right.
feel like we're probably going to see like what T-shirts. Are we seeing a lot of T-shirts?
Right. Is it going to be like high fashion, like
I
crazy
think
stuff?
Michael Misa goes all in. He gets the flip-flops, he gets the swim shorts, the board shorts, and the tank top. That's the first
In
game he's
Edmonton
showing.
in January.
He's like, where's the beach? What's going on? I don't understand what's happening.
Hey, keeping my hopes alive. The Philadelphia Flyers picked Jack Nesbitt, and he wants to know if you ever pulled a groin playing soccer.
Oh, have I? I've never pulled it like I definitely injured it.
Okay.
But it wasn't a bad one. Like, it wasn't like out for months.
Okay.
But I've definitely pulled groin. But again, I was playing goalie more, so I wasn't running as much as a field player. This is high school and college when I was at the higher levels. But I'm shocked I never broke a bone, because I've had some nasty tackles as a goalie, especially.
Okay.
I've definitely gotten concussions. Every single finger I have sprains from the ball either hitting it or me hitting the ground and catching it in the ground a lot. Thumbs, I had taped my thumbs every single game with the trainers, and sometimes when you'd sprain your fingers, you'd tape them together.
Oh, okay.
So then they'd be in the same finger hole in your glove. Like, it was just uncomfortable.
You're going Ninja Turtle style. You're like,
And spraining your finger, especially your thumbs, those took months to get back to normal, to where you didn't
can't
feel
even hold
anything.
any of it. You're trying to
Oh, it's
ride
awful. Like, it would be completely swollen, like just everything swelled up. But you still had to play, and you still had to, suck it up.
Well, they can hold those note cards though.
Behind us right now, actually, we've got Brody doing an interview with Michael Misa. Oh, the thumb's the other way. There you go. Brody did an interview with Michael Misa live here at SAP. If you guys aren't here, you should have been. It would have been fantastic to be able to witness all of this. Again, lots of cool things that are happening down in the concourse area there. The photo booth to get your own like hockey card and everything else. Lots of fun things that are happening down here. But yeah, Brody's talking with Misa right now, and I just happened to hear him say, did you kind of know that this was going to happen? Did you have a sense of what's going to happen? And very confidently he said, yeah, I did. I knew that they were high on me. They had talked to him quite a bit, and it seemed like a place that he wanted to go as well. So, to Michael Misa, welcome home, buddy, and I'm serious about that. Board shorts, flip-flops, tank top, game one, make it happen. The CBA says it's okay.
Not till next year.
Let's go.
Not next season, so one after.
Sure.
And it's not signed yet. I think it still needs to get signed. It's not.
He can wear it under his
official.
suit. He can wear it under his suit. It's
whatever.
okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what's happening right now. Is there anything else you want to talk about with the CBA?
Yeah, one of the other things was draft pick signing rights. They're done at 22 years old.
Oh yeah.
So that I'm taking that as the players that like go overseas. They get drafted and they go, I don't want to play. I'm going to go back to Russia, or I'm going to go play in Sweden. And they're older, and it goes like 4 or 5 years later. Those teams usually hold those rights when they come back, if they ever come back. So they have the first right to sign them, which isn't really quite fair to some of those players. I can see both arguments. Like, yeah, they drafted him, but if you drafted a guy who didn't, like, look at was it Henry Thrun was like, I'm not going to play for the Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to become a free agent.
Yeah.
And then they traded him to the Sharks, and he didn't bid. A situation like that, where at 22, now blank slate,
resets,
right?
so now it starts all over
they're just
again.
a free agent.
He's back into the. Oh, he's a free
They
agent.
go to free
Okay,
agency.
okay.
Yeah. So it's a very.
You don't like that.
I don't know that I like that.
Okay.
I don't
That kind
know.
of sucks.
I mean, if a guy says he doesn't want to play for your organization and goes home, well, now that opens the door for him to come back to the NHL and play somewhere else.
But then you shouldn't have drafted him. If you knew that beforehand, you shouldn't have drafted him either, right?
Well, it
So-
could be a situation where it's a logjam a year or two later, where all of a sudden they get passed up
Yeah.
on the depth chart, or it's a new ownership or a new
Doesn't value the player the same.
GM,
It's like,
right?
yeah.
And they don't. It's not their guy, so they don't want him.
I just think it sucks because I think the better path would be to move that player. You still own the rights, but move the player. Do right by the player, right? But not everybody does that.
I mean-
But to me, it just feels like, you've got this guy that you wasted your draft pick on, and he's saying, no, I just don't want to play for you. That gives a lot of power to kids. There's a lot of power to kids.
Yeah, but I see the NHL seeing this as a problem because good players are leaving and not coming back to the NHL because they're like, I don't want to play for that franchise.
For that one
And that's the
particular
question right there. That's the question. What does the organization get back as compensation for losing the pick?
Nothing.
And
Right? That's
sucks.
the draft. That's the breaks, right?
Yeah.
That's what you got to. That's the. Like Michkov said, he didn't want to play for San Jose. If the Sharks had picked him at that
He's
pick,
gonna throw a big stink.
he would still be in Russia.
But he did say, I don't want to play for San Jose. So they had that information prior to. That's all I'm getting at.
You
I just
still
think it
see
sucks.
teams sign or draft those players,
True. Yeah.
and then they demand a trade, and depending on the type of player or how good they are or how much pull they can have, that could ruin
Yeah.
the trade value too when they come out and say, I don't want to play for you. Well, teams be
Oh,
like,
it tanks
no,
the trade value.
you
Yeah.
have to trade him now,
yeah,
right?
you have to. We'll give you pennies or
Exactly.
yeah.
Which again, if you had just traded the pick rather than trading the player who you picked with the pick who doesn't want to play for you, the values are so far off.
But it could be a different management team.
It could be. It could,
Right?
Absolutely, I get that. Well, my whole thing is just for the franchise itself. It's giving a lot of power, and I say to kids, it happens at 22 years old, so they're not kids then. But they've made that decision to not play early.
Well, they have 3 years to sign their entry-level contracts, and otherwise they lose them anyway.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? That's 4 years later.
So wait, is this just
Oh,
like
they're 18. They get drafted at 20 still, though. I mean,
is this just like the NHL kind of catching up to kind of like the NFL? Remember, like Eli Manning said, "I'm not going to play for the Chargers," right? Remember,
Right.
He had, like that whole thing, like I'm not going to go play for that team. So don't draft me, or I'm going to sit out, or I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I can't play anywhere else, but you're just going to be wasting a pick. I'm not signing with you.
Eric
So-
Lindros did that. That was the latest one I could think of right now. That was
Yeah.
a high-end player who said, I'm not going
Yeah.
to play for you, and they had to trade him.
Yeah,
Because he got
I'm not playing
drafted
there.
by
Quebec.
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 Yeah, Nordiques.
He's like,
yeah.
nope.
the Nordiques.
Yeah. And that's how they got, there was a bunch of people in that trade because then they ended up going, Forsberg was in that trade.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
See, again, are we leading to draftees issuing no playlists of teams they won't play for? So you got
No,
guys entering
I
the
don't-
draft being able
I
to
don't think
pick
it's-
where they're going to go.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think
It's that expansive of a list. I mean, you're saying you think it's only maybe one or two teams that I'm saying they don't want to go play for.
I think it's to solve the issue of players that go back outside of North America.
Yeah.
And leave North America and be like, I'm not playing for that franchise and I'll just stay here until you trade me. Well, if they don't trade them,
Yeah.
right?
And they just sit on it.
Now
and
they're
sit on it.
screwed and they're just
Yeah.
sitting there. Whereas they don't sign their entry-level contracts after 3 years, they're a free agent.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same issue.
I don't like it. Pick is in for the Detroit Red Wings. They have Dave Coulier, who was Uncle
yeah.
Joey
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Full House,
Yes.
I believe.
Cut it out. Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah, you know.
You laughed at me about the 90s reference, and here you go, buddy.
We're
Come
about
on
we're
now.
about the same age.
Embrace it.
We're about
Let's
the
go.
same. I know. I have
Okay,
to.
fuck
Okay.
Cat Superman. Okay, so he's they just announced that he's cancer free. He was battling Hodgkin's lymphoma, and so he's chatting right now. I could definitely see Victor Eklund being the type of player that the Detroit Red Wings would want. Why?
I could see every team.
Aaron's
wanting-
like every team is gonna.
You look at the legacy. A guy like Pavel Datsyuk. I'm not trying to put Eklund at that level, but
you
he's
just did.
small, fast, shifty, tenacious, that kind of thing. Like I could definitely see them going that route. I don't know. We'll see where the pick goes from here. Again, we're probably going to stay until Eklund gets drafted, and if it happens right now,
Paul's going to go cry.
bye. But I don't know. 13th pick. He's fallen to 13. He was supposed to go like 10. So
I thought he was 5.
it's in my heart. Carter Bear. Okay, Carter Bear actually. Carter Bear is a fantastic pick and a fantastic player. This guy got injured. I think he tore his Achilles, and he was out for a long time. But if he had played the entire season, he probably would have gone higher up in the draft. But this is the type of guy. This is one of those Greer's guys, actually. He would have been great for playing for Mike Greer, or under Mike Greer's tenure, I guess. So, awesome. They took Carter Bear. He's going to have a good career. I think he's all healed up and everything else. They're malleable, right? They're fine. So, we talked about somebody else in the same boat. Schaefer, I think it was.
It's almost like the NHL doesn't want you to leave. These teams, they're watching the Fin Factor. They know, okay, we got to keep Paul on. We got to get this guy on.
At what point
Do the Sharks try
are
to
you
move
Mike
up?
Greer, knowing, from Anton Frondell's mouth, knowing that Victor Eklund wants to play with William Eklund, knowing that you're going to get the same type of player? At what
Maybe.
point do you say, you know what, fine, I'm throwing my draft picks at you, we're going to take your pick and we're going to select this guy and then we're going home so the Fin Factor can end the show?
Maybe if he's still there for those two Islanders, 16 and 17
16,
picks.
17. Yeah, 16,
And they're at-
17.
They just did 13.
That was 13.
So that's 2 more picks to go. Maybe they make a trade with the Islanders. And they take Pollock. off their hands since he won't get moved. No, I'm kidding. That's not happening. That's not happening. That's not
The
happening. Sharks need a right-handed shot defenseman, not a left-handed shot defenseman.
Sure. I think the Sharks need just good, reliable
NHL
defensemen.
caliber defenseman.
Yeah, I
There
think
it
that's
is.
really what it comes down to. A lot gets made of whether they're right-handed or left-handed. It's coveted having a right-handed shot defenseman, of course.
I keep saying right-handed because they have so many upcoming ones on the left.
Okay,
Luke
got it.
Medulin, Dickinson, right there, right? You're not going to add somebody that's better than those guys and shove them down.
Right.
So I think they need it doesn't necessarily be an offensive right-handed shot defenseman. It could be a very defensive-minded one.
Okay.
You just need somebody who's right-handed.
mean,
Having said that, being right-handed on the right side is obviously a lot easier for them to pick up pucks off the walls and thing. But these guys are professionals. If you're going out in the free agent market and you're getting a guy who's like 28 years old, he knows how to pull a puck off of the wall in his backhand.
That's what Vlasic was doing. That.
Yeah,
He was playing on the right side.
Absolutely. So these guys, again, the amount of training that they go through is absolutely ridiculous. Picking a puck off the wall on your backhand side, it's more difficult, 100%, but it's not difficult for these guys. So I wouldn't be too surprised, because a lot of times they'll say he's left-handed, but he plays defense. He's not a lefty, not a right D. And sometimes they will list him as left or right, but some guys they just go, he plays D. It doesn't matter to him. He'll play either way, right? So a lot gets made of it. I would prefer it to have a right-handed shot on the right side, obviously. But as long as it's a guy that can do it, and we're not going to get scored on repeatedly, I'm happy, right? So, anyway. Yeah, again, Carter Bear's a really good pick. Happy for him. I don't know if you guys want to take maybe a little quick break or if you want to continue talking on.
That's
with
Paul
CBA
saying I
stuff.
would take a break.
No.
Paul, we take, no.
I'm just chilling. If you guys want to talk, I'll just chill.
Let's talk about free agents.
Free agents.
So that's coming up in a week, not even. Right? In a couple
Yeah.
of
Well,
days.
Ken, you can't shut me up. Come on now.
There it is. We don't want you to shut up, Paul. We
Let's
don't
talk
want
about
you to
some
shut up.
targets here.
Is it, when does it open up? 4th of
July
July weekend?
1st.
Oh, that's a few days.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a few days.
But I think the negotiation period, you're allowed to start talking to free agents the week before. So I think
So
right now
that's happening now.
Yeah.
That's happening now. Because
'Cause then-
Tuesday is July 1st.
Because that way, on July 1st, you're not first talking to the guys. You already
That's all
kinda,
they always sign, right? It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, how did
Yeah.
they already work this deal
Yeah,
out
exactly.
in 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, they've been talking for weeks.
So I'm thinking, so going back to the Sharks cap space, they are about $20 million from the floor that they have to spend.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be trading for a bad contract coming back to them so they can get their salary cap up, or it's going to be signing free agents.
And then real quick, just for novices like myself, so like none of these like draft picks are gonna make enough money to even get them close, right? So like it's not like, oh, we have 9 draft picks, we're gonna get so
If they sign their entry-level deal,
yeah.
the minimum is $750 right now,
Okay,
and the
yeah.
maximum is $950.
Okay.
Then there's bonuses on top of that if they hit, like Celebrini hit it, so his actual salary was like $950 or $975, the highest
Okay.
you can make. But then he made probably over $1 million in bonuses, so his
Okay,
cap
so-
hit was a little bit higher.
Okay, yeah.
But you can't count on it because
Yeah.
you don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
So this is money you're gonna have to spend with a legitimate NHL player, like sign this contract. You can't rely on these draft picks to make a certain amount of money or their bonuses. So they're gonna have to go out and get some new players.
I do like that about the way that works with entry-level contracts. I do like that you can't throw $10 million at a kid who's supposed to be a generational talent. Doesn't matter who you are, what level you are, you're making $950 max, period. That's it.
They've actually, in the CBA, I don't know if you saw that part, but they're bumping that up a little bit.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
minimum.
yeah.
So the minimum is at $750. By the end of the 4 years of the CBA, it bumps up a little every year. The minimum will be $1 million.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Oh,
That's $300,000,
okay.
$250,000, I think. I think $750 is the floor. So the minimum will be $1 million by the end of the 4 years. So it's probably $50,000 each year.
That's a good chunk.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it might be
when
like
you're
1
talking
point-
about
yeah.
$750 versus $1 million, that's
yeah,
a good chunk.
The league is doing better.
Yeah.
They're getting more money coming in the league. They're also talking about, we didn't even talk about this, expansion fees are going up. They might possibly add another expansion team into the league, or probably 2 because they have to make it
Well, you have
even,
to make it
right?
balance. You have to be 2.
So that's a possibility. Maybe some relocation of certain teams.
Okay, well can we just dive in? Let's just
Speculate.
real fast.
Speculate.
Just to fill some space before Eklund gets traded.
All right. What city do you think would
That's what I
make
was thinking,
sense for an expansion team?
Paul,
right
you go
now?
first.
What city?
Like, what city would you think would be the next expansion team?
I mean, look, I would love to have the Nordiques back. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They tried Quebec. It didn't quite work out. Although they tried Arizona. Apparently they're trying Atlanta again.
That's
I don't
the
know
next
if I meant to
one.
say it's under there. My bad. But yeah, I mean, I would love it. I would love for it to be the Quebec, bring back the Nordiques. I would love that. But yeah, maybe Atlanta works out. Although Atlanta, they were a franchise for a hot minute, and then that was the end of it. So who knows?
Was it at least 10 years, 15 years?
That's
No,
I mean,
50. I don't know about 15.
in the grand scheme of
Maybe about
things,
10.
10 years in this league is not that long.
No, it's not.
You know?
It's not. I think the ownership in the arena was bad, and I think now
Yeah,
that
it was a whole mess when they
Yeah.
brought that team there.
But you're seeing a lot of NBA arenas, new NBA arenas that are being built. I mean, look, the Warriors have one, right? The Warriors didn't do this, but a lot of arenas are building them so that they can have hockey.
The both. Okay.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Columbus Blue Jackets pick is in. I believe that's Johnny Gaudreau's wife who's there getting a standing ovation. People here are clapping, actually, but you can hear them on the Jumbotron. Johnny. Yeah, just a real emotional moment out there where they're doing this. I don't know how she's going to get through this, frankly, but we'll see who Columbus picks. Yeah, that's just, wow. That's an emotional moment. Goodness gracious. Anyway, sorry. We'll talk about who they pick in just a minute here, but you guys want to finish? You said Atlanta.
Well, someone down here on the chat said Portland.
Portland.
I think Portland could be a good one.
Portland would be
There
good.
it is.
Yeah. No, I think Portland would be a good one. Certainly, there's a hockey culture out in Portland, or just in Oregon in general. I know with
Portland's
the roller.
weird.
It is.
Keep Portland weird. That's their motto.
Yeah.
weird?
Yeah,
Keep Portland
Yeah,
weird.
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be weird to have a hockey team in Portland.
It would.
So it fits.
It would. It would be weird. You're right. It would be weird.
Okay, Columbus Blue Jackets select.
From the Tri-City Americans, Jackson
Not Victor Eklund.
Jackson.
Is Jackson with an
Smith.
Not
X?
Victor
Is it with an
Eklund.
X? Oh, no, it's
Defenseman.
regular.
Is that the
Okay.
first defenseman
Guys,
since Schaefer?
question. Did I black out and he got selected earlier and I'm rooting on something that's never gonna happen?
I feel like
Is
it
he
would
still
have
on the
came down on the
board?
chat, I think.
Are you kidding me?
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this,
Well
This is all a fever dream. It's all a fever
Well done,
dream.
SPJ. Buddy, how is he still on the board? How is he still on the board? Are you kidding me?
Because he's so small.
Yeah, I guess so. Guys, come on. At 15,
I
you
don't know why
gotta,
you're
Greer,
complaining.
you gotta make a move.
Greer, can you satiate
No,
this
I'm
guy?
saying Greer, you gotta make a move here. Get this kid.
Vancouver.
Help this guy
He could be
out.
going to Vancouver, which means we'll be seeing a lot of Eklund on Eklund.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to see that. I want him playing right
wanna see
alongside.
that
Goodness.
Right there.
Anyway.
Get ready for a lot of Paul talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on this all season if we don't get him. Mark my words.
Especially
No.
he goes in the Western Conference.
He's so mad. Portland, though. Yeah, so my kids play inline hockey as well. And a lot of times when they do tournaments, yeah, they're playing a lot of the Southern California teams. But the other teams that come out are the Maven Oregon Reign, shout out, and the Bend Bullets, shout out. Both of them from Oregon. Very good clubs. They come and they're competitive, and it's roller hockey, yes, but again, it's hockey culture that's out there. I could definitely see them having the Portland Winterhawks, right? So they do have ice out there as well. They have a culture out there that I think would go very strong to have an NHL team out there with them. Happened in Utah. Utah is actually big hockey city. There's a lot of hockey going on out there. My kids do tournaments, and they went to Utah one time, and it was big. Like really, really good competition out there. I could definitely see Portland or some area of Oregon taking an NHL team on, and the fan base going ballistic for them.
Yeah.
All right, so I know you. Before we get to that one comment I just saw down there.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't Portland, then I guess it'd have to be Eugene, right? Get that Nike money in there, right? It's either Portland or Eugene.
Okay.
It'd have to be one of those two.
Portland would make sense.
I don't see. I feel like it had to be Portland because you're right there on the river. You
Who
have
has
the
a bigger airport too? Portland.
You're right. Yeah, you're right
Right?
there. You got the soccer team.
Yeah.
Portland Timbers.
I mean,
you got
Portland has the Trailblazers.
Yeah,
And
you got
that's
that.
it.
And yeah, that's it.
For the big four,
Yes,
right?
Yes, that's it. That's all they got. So you got to find some space in there. You got to Get rid of some trees. They love their trees. So it's either Portland or Eugene. But I saw someone down in the comments saying Anchorage, Alaska. That would be great. I mean,
That would be
except
nuts.
the travel would be brutal.
Yes.
It would be
Absolutely.
an absolute nightmare.
How many
Nightmare.
delays during the
We
winter,
start the game
right?
at midnight. All right,
Yeah.
we're starting the game at midnight.
They'd be playing games and there's zero daylight.
Sorry, our flight was delayed. We hit a moose. You know?
There's too much snow. We can't see.
Can't land.
No, it's not, no, he's got the little moose falling out. No, it's just okay. All right, well, he's looking for the button. I promise you, at the end of the season, we'll have a moose button. I don't even know what it'll do, but it'll be fun. Yeah, so done with that. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
There it is. Okay.
It's almost a moose.
That's a moose.
He's as big as a
That's
moose.
as big as
that
what we
guy.
got. That's what we got.
Telling you. No, I still like him. I still like that pick. That pickup.
That's good.
So, all right. What else here? What else we want to talk about?
I think that was it for the CBA, right?
For me, it's right now. It's just all about
Low battery for Paul.
When-
Low battery for Paul. It's
when.
all low
No,
battery.
it's not that. If he goes on the 30th pick, I'll be right here. Okay. But for me, it's all about where does Victor Eklund go at this point. I have to imagine Williams talking to Mike Greer right now, saying it could happen, dude.
I do think the Sharks would be making a trade because they have so many picks right now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move up and get somebody.
And, you said it too. Mike Greer had talked about, we're kind of in a position now where we're not so much still stockpiling.
Yeah.
We're in a position now where we've stockpiled and we're ready to start moving some of these things that we feel we're not going to end up using for right now or very soon assets.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's fallen to 15. I don't know that Victor Eklund is considered a not right now asset because everybody else is passing on him. I don't know why. But I would love to see him wearing teal, and I think that he could do well for the Sharks. So
yeah, to your point in terms of like stockpiling all these assets, right? At some point, you got to get these players on the road, right? You got to see what they're about. And remember when the Boston Celtics, remember Danny Ainge, he fleeced I think the New York or the Brooklyn Nets. Remember they traded KG and they got all these picks, right? And they sat on them and sat on them and sat on them, and nothing came to fruition. At some point, you have all these picks. You got to use them. They're lottery tickets, right?
Yep.
You got to scratch them off and see what's going on. You can't just keep stockpiling. You got because also us as the fans, especially Paul, we want to see the product.
Yeah.
We don't just want to be talking about in 10 years or 5 or 3.
it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's coming soon. No, we want to see it now. I think now is the time. So all right, Paul, I'm in with you now, Paul. I'm in with you now. Let's
start
go.
seeing some results on the ice. Not ending in last place. What sneakers is everyone
Great
rocking?
question.
I feel like this is targeted. Because I've been made fun of for having dad shoes.
What do you got on today? Let's start with Paul.
So wait, what was the one? It was
New Balance?
New Balance was the ones I was wearing when we first
All
started
white.
doing the show.
All white New Balance.
Yeah, buddy.
With cargo
Clean.
shorts.
Oh, hey,
and a polo.
okay.
Hey, dad mode. I was dad mode in training.
You're still dad mode now.
No, I saw these DC. Actually, they're a different pair of DCs than when I started.
Oh,
with, but they're
skater.
DC.
Okay,
didn't know you
okay.
were
You know,
skater.
I'm not a skater. They're just
Comfortable.
They're fluffy.
So
buddy.
much support. I know.
You know,
Same with these.
those are fluffy.
Yeah, they're big. They're
They're
comfy.
big.
I
Yeah.
mean, this look at the tongue is like
Yes,
it's
I had those in high school
So in high school,
Yeah.
they're still good.
and college.
They're still
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Stop
Did you
hating.
use it for soccer?
No, I used to love them too. I love them because they were big, comfortable, padded shoes.
This is what you tune in for the shoe discussions, apparently.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
That was perfect because it gave me a chance to pick up my cards that I dropped half an hour
Yeah, they've
ago.
been on the ground
You know
forever.
what? We forgot to record the new segment of that.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Get on with it!
Hey, how about that? We didn't talk about Jumbo yet, did we?
No,
We did not.
We did not talk about Jumbo yet. In fact, before we get to Jumbo, there's another Hall of Famer that deserves credit. He made it to the Hall first from the Sharks. Sharky, Hall of Fame mascot, buddy.
Aaron, keep it together.
The thing is,
Don't
he
shed a
doesn't
tear,
have to
Aaron.
retire.
Don't cry. Don't cry, Aaron.
The thing is, he doesn't have to retire. Usually when you're in the Hall of Fame, you've retired and
Yes.
everything. And Sharky's still working. He's getting it done. Good for him. Oh. So you know. Selection, the pick is in for the Vancouver Canucks. We don't know what it is yet, but it is coming.
Dale
Now,
Samuelson.
again, hats off to Sharky, hardest working fish in the NHL. that guy Finn from the what do you call it? I don't even know what the team name is. That's how much I don't care. Vancouver Canucks.
Is that a former Shark, Mikhail
Who is
Samuelson?
it? No, I don't think so. But anyway, good for him. Happy for him. But Jumbo, Hall of Fame career. Finally, now that he's done with it, I mean, first go at it, he's right in the hall.
First
Right
ballot
there.
Hall of
Boom.
Famer.
Did you happen to catch the video of Lanny McDonald
Yes.
and Ron
Francis.
Francis? Did you see this?
Oh, no, I
Oh,
didn't.
man, I'll show you afterwards. But
Those two guys are, especially McDonald.
some,
He's a
some
he's a
old school,
beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they were trying to call him. They couldn't get a hold of him. Get back to this in a second. They're making the pick right now. Yes! Not Victor Eklund.
So there's still a chance.
There's a chance.
You're telling me there's still a chance. Okay.
I'm excited, genuinely. Hall of Famer Joe Thornton. They give him the call. He doesn't pick up the phone. They try a couple times. He doesn't pick up the phone. I forget who he said. He said, she said to call you one more time, and then he ended up picking up the phone that time. He says, hey, how's it going? And they're talking to him, kind of buttering him up a little bit, and then Ron Francis tells him, hey, we're happy to accept you into the Hall of Fame. And the first thing out of his mouth
Oh no.
Not kid friendly.
was
Was it a bad word?
holy
Oh, it was a bad. Of course it was. Of course it.
Frankfurter. Okay, he said holy that, and then he caught himself because I'm sure he knew they're recording
Exactly,
this.
yeah.
So he follows up with the very kid-friendly holy doodle. Holy doodle.
Holy doodle.
Holy doodle, boys!
I've never heard of that before in my life.
So somebody is about to make a lot of money. They're going to make a T-shirt
T-shirt.
with his
It's gonna be all
silhouette.
over.
Holy doodle.
Maybe we should do that.
Jason, get on top of it. I tried to do it with all the AA bots that are out there, but I'm not.
Oh, maybe you can
There
find
you
it on our
go.
website.
Yes, holy
It'll
doodle.
be on the website sooner or later. Yeah, Holy Doodle.
Holy doodle.
So
Okay.
fantastic. By the way, Jumbo Joe coaching as Hannan is coaching 12U kids.
Okay. Is that new? Was he not coaching last year?
No, he wasn't. He was an assistant coach, and Joe, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm 100% convinced he had no interest in coaching the last season or the season before. It was just his kid was playing on that team. I think he just didn't want all the parents coming up to him saying, "Hey, you're Joe Thornton," so he wanted to be behind the bench instead. He's like, "Just make me an assistant
makes
coach,
sense.
please."
That makes sense.
So, and I could be completely wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But this season, the head coach of that 12U team is now coaching his 8U kid. Jumbo's taking over. They are a humongous team. My son Jace has to play against them this season. It's not going to be pretty.
Jace
But
isn't tall?
Jace is not tall. Can you imagine why that might be?
Poor Jace.
I told
Sorry,
him.
buddy.
I told him, you're not going to have the genes. You're just going to have to be good, kid. I'm sorry.
Just got to have
skill.
hard work ethic.
Green
Hard work
biscuit.
ethic.
It's green biscuit
You
work.
know,
Yeah.
smaller players with hard work ethic is just what the San Jose Sharks need.
Like Eklund.
Like Eklund. I'm going to keep coming back
There
to
it
this.
is.
No, but
It always comes back.
but the reason I brought that up is because he does have a lot of time he's spending doing that with the kids,
Okay.
right? The practices, he's there running them and everything else. Not that he can't find help, I'm sure. He lives with Misa and Celebrini, for Christ's sake. A guest appearance on the ice would be fantastic for those kids.
That
I
would be
can't
awesome.
even
That'd be
imagine
crazy.
being a 12-year-old and having Macklin come on the ice and
Oh,
help
yeah,
out now and then.
yeah.
Holy doodle, right? But the reason again is that you've got Joe being offered a position by Mike Greer for, yes, director of vibes, and apparently that's actually a thing, but to do player development coaching, an official position. He said it's there for him whenever he wants to take it. So that's something I think Joe will start being more involved, even more involved than he already is, in a more official role.
Capacity, yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, looking forward to seeing that because, I mean, he's always, every time he's on the ice with the guys and you watch him during the practice, he's just out there. He's a kid. He's having fun. He's teaching, but he's having as much fun as anybody else out there. So,
Is that what Scott Hannan said? I'm still 12 years old?
yeah. Well, he's out there
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
12-year-olds soaking it up. But, yeah, anyway.
That was a good question. Can you put that back up, Jay?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Or not question, comment. Fun question. On the broadcast, the commentator said the Sharks were going to be the team of the 2030s. What do y'all think about that? It's pretty exciting. We just saw a tweet earlier from Big Head Hockey, and I'm not going to repeat what it said exactly, but it went through all the Celebrini's a franchise center. Will Smith is a first-line center. Eklund was a first-line winger.
Yep.
Dickinson was a first-line
Yeah.
defender.
Yep.
Askarov is franchise goalie, and
they just got Misa.
Oh, and Misa too. And Misa was the second line center, I think.
Let's go.
Yeah, then there's some choice words there, but it's very exciting. And 2030s, because that's only 4.5 years away from now,
we're
right?
there. We're almost there.
Those guys are going to be hitting their peak at 4.5 years.
Like the beginning of their beginning of their peak.
So yes, the team. This is going to be the 2030s.
He's calling it now. Okay, you said it. You heard it here first on the Fin.
Yeah, the dynasty, the 2030s dynasty.
There it is.
The Sharks will own the 2030s. So get on board now, because you're going to know who all these players are before they're really, really big.
And frankly, again, the best way to get on board now is to visit the store. Oh my God! Is to visit the store. Visit thefinfactor.com, get the merch. You'll be wearing these hats and sweatshirts and everything else, just like all the rest of our fans. When you join our live streams, you'll be in there talking, chatting about how great the Sharks are this season in a couple of years. But even this season, like I said, I'm drawing the line in the sand. We will be a bubble team. We may not make playoffs, but we're going to be in that conversation of, man, I wish either we were just a little bit better or way worse, because having the 16th overall pick sucks.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to be, right there. Whether or not we make playoffs or not, we're going to be right in that thing. I'm telling you, this season, we're going to be there.
But only if the Sharks trade for Victor Eklund.
Only if the Sharks trade for Victor Eklund.
There it is.
Oh, man. I'm pumped. I'm shocked that he slid this far. And if you take a look at William Eklund, and you take a look at the Wilsons, right? Doug Jr. drafted. The first thing out of his mouth when he talked to him, he said, I can't believe you fell to us at 7.
Yeah.
If we make a trade and get him on this roster, it's going to be one of those things where I cannot believe you fell that far and we were able to get you. Because I think you're in the realm of possibility now. With the draft picks that you have, you can move down to number 15. Moving down to number 5 or number 10. Number 15, I think is more realistic right now.
Yeah.
Or 16 or 17.
16, whatever it is, yeah. So the Islanders are on the board right now. That means
back-to-back.
it's 16.
Yes.
And they have
17,
back-to-back.
yeah.
So it's,
16,
right now it's 16, yeah. So they do have 16 and 17.
I think they trade a pick.
I mean, this is it for me. This is it. And if he doesn't go at 16 or 17, it's ludicrous that he doesn't get taken right after that. So if the Sharks don't make a trade here, I don't know.
It's like Calgary has that 18th pick.
I'd rather go to the Islanders.
If you're gonna go somewhere else, go East Coast. But yeah, man. I don't know. They're on the clock right now. They got 2 minutes left. I don't know. You think they're gonna do both picks at once?
No, they like to. No, for TV, I think they're gonna draw it out.
Of course, they're gonna draw it out.
He's listed as number 1 available right now.
Yeah, he's been listed number 1 available since like pick 10.
Why aren't the GMs looking at that?
I don't know. Why aren't they listening to me?
Exactly.
Maybe they thought he was already picked and they just accidentally crossed him off.
Yeah,
there's no way he's still there.
That's why I asked him. Like, did I miss something? How is he
I
still
do that in my
here?
fantasy drafts. I'm like, why is this guy still available?
What happened with him?
Now
What
I have to
happened?
Google
What's
him.
wrong?
Is he hurt? Why
What's
is
going
nobody
on?
picking him?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh wait, he was picked 5 rounds ago.
Yeah.
I'm an
Okay.
idiot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of fantasy,
Yes.
we do have some open spots available
There you go.
for the Fantasy Hockey League. If you're interested, you can email us at thefinfactor@gmail.com. Just put put Fantasy Hockey in the subject and let me know that you are interested. It's a keeper league. It's just like our league.
Is there a fee?
There's a $50 entrance fee. Thank
Okay.
you. There is a cup that is on our set.
Yeah.
And the winner gets their name engraved on the set along with monetary
He
winnings.
gets the name engraved on the cup on the set.
Sorry.
They don't get the name engraved on the set.
You get to come in and engrave.
Let's clarify.
We've been talking a long time. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't lie, it was, a lot last, month, and
I should say it's not engraved, it's hand stamped onto the cup. So I stamp it on the cup just like the real Stanley Cup. And Graham Montgomery, the guy who was here the last 2 drafts, has his name on there twice now.
Oh, wow.
So he's won 2 of the 3 years that we've done it.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you want to join, let me know and send us an email, and we'll get you in. And we'll pick a day to draft. It's fun.
You know, the other thing, and I don't partake, and maybe I ought to, but
you should.
Well, it's not about the fantasy, the actual games itself. It's not about that and partaking in the league itself. But if you are part of the league, and Aaron can speak to this, it's very active in the chat that's there.
Yes.
And you want to talk a little bit about the chat that's there?
There's 12 of us
Yeah.
in the league, and there's a chat room feature, and it's in Fantrax, and it is a very active chat group on there. Our league, me and Devereaux own another league, and we use text messages.
Yes.
Which I think is more annoying. I'd rather have Fantrax and keep it in the app.
we get. Some days we might get 80 text messages.
Oh my, it's so many.
100.
If you guys are jonesing for some extra Fin Factor kind of banter, but we don't have a show because we do our show once a week, which, by the way, hit the subscribe button. It's only once a week. That's when you want to hit the subscribe button, is when you don't know exactly when they're going to get a new show coming out. That's why. So there's that. But if you're jonesing for a little bit of Fin Factor talk, Aaron's in there, and he'll happily spend his working hours.
It's a lot.
Typing with you.
No, it's cool. It's a lot of chatter. It's a lot of Sharks fans, obviously, and Fin Factor, and it's a lot of the regulars that are in our lives. So they kind of cross over into both. So you'll get to know more people.
I will say I'm very proud of the community that I won't say we've built, but the community that's come to us, I should say. It's been very accepting, very welcoming. We've had guys from other teams come in, try to talk a little bit of smack. And our guys don't go over the top, you know. They just banter back and forth, and they're very respectful. And to you guys, the fans, the Fin Factor fans, I appreciate you guys very much. And dang it! New York Islanders selected Victor Eklund.
All right, Paul's out. He's gone. All right. Shut the lights off. Yep.
Unhappy. At least it's the
Yeah,
Islanders. It could be worse.
Is William there with him?
I don't know. Is he hugging a guy that looks exactly like him?
Is he hugging a guy that looks exactly
I think
like
I saw him. Yeah, they got some weird aerial view right now.
That's it. This was fun. I appreciate you guys tuning in and doing this. Yeah, he's on the East Coast, which is great.
And not Calgary. Oh, that would have been so annoying.
You know what?
It's good.
They traded Dobson. They selected Schaefer. They got this fantastic player that happened to fall all the way down to, 16?
Great value.
Yeah, I mean, great value for this guy. He's going to be fantastic. And you know what? Part of me hopes he's not fantastic right away and they give up on him and then we steal him back. I promise you, and I said this before, I promise you, he's the type of guy that you're going to get a little extra juice by playing with his brother than he plays anywhere else. If he's a guy that needs a change of scenery, you're going to see him take off if he gets if he gets with the Sharks and he gets to play with his brother. But you know what? Congratulations to the Eklund family and to Victor Eklund.
Good job.
You got drafted, buddy, in the NHL. It's fantastic. Certainly fell a lot farther than I thought you were going to fall. I was really hopeful there for quite a while. But
they kept just like breadcrumbs, just kind of like, hey, come on, Paul. You're still. It's like,
just kept stringing me along.
Sorry, Paul.
Thanks for nothing, New York.
Yep.
All right.
That was an extra hour.
Is what it is. Anything else we want to add here, fellas?
No, we're about halfway through the first round.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't think we're going to stick around to pick 30 because although they don't have all the GMs there, and we thought maybe it would be less of like a build-up and it would be a little bit more time condensed, they have a video board where the GMs are talking to their picks after they pick them in front of the world when nobody cares. We just want to get on to the next pick.
Yeah.
So, there you go. They're showing a graphic on the screen behind us right now. William Eklund, 7th overall. Victor Eklund, 16th overall. Obviously, 2 different draft years. But, the brothers, and I'm telling you, they're both fantastic players. New York Islanders made out like bandits in this draft.
Do you think William Eklund's going to give his brother some grief because he was drafted higher?
Wait a minute. Yes, he will. Wait a minute. What if Victor Eklund decides he doesn't want to play for the Islanders until he's 22?
Here we go.
I mean, he is going back to Sweden. He already said he's going back next year to help them because
Victor did the same thing.
Yeah.
I think they got relegated again, and he's going to help him get promoted.
Okay.
So I think Victor did the same thing, right? He went back to your garden as well.
Yes.
When he played for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Howdy, guys. Yes. 3 of you all at once. Just saw you live. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were making the joke earlier that we were never on the show together, so it's kind of a Clark Kent Superman dynamic going on. We are different people, I promise you that.
I saw you live. I wonder if they're here. Like they meant they're here at the
here? Oh. Let us know if you're here, because if you're here, say hi. But anyway, I'm honestly, we're not going to stick around for the 30th because it's going to be another 2 hours.
He's drained. He's wiped. He gave it all.
Well, we'll be doing the show.
Yeah,
we're gonna take a break.
We're taking a break. look at Jason just fell over.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. I didn't know because he didn't know. He figured we were done.
Aaron's like, we're
done.
We're not done.
Tell you what. Here's what's gonna happen.
We didn't get dressed up for nothing.
Here's what's gonna happen. We are going to take a quick break because I need to mentally recover from what just happened on that video board, the center hung, okay? And when I have mentally recovered, we'll come right back to let you know if we're continuing or not. Super Producer Jason looks like he's ready to take a nap. We'll see you guys real soon. Stay right there. Okay, we're back. We've decided, logically, by the way, that waiting till the 30th pick is ludicrous. So instead, we went and got some food, and we are reminded of things. So again, today, I feel like I ended on a bit of a sour note, right? Because we didn't have Victor Eklund.
And then you ran out of here. You're right. Yeah, you ran out.
We didn't have Victor Eklund coming to San Jose, right? But I think, again, we did a fantastic job getting Michael Misa, not going after the Chicago Trolls. Anton Frondel, who didn't even go, was it 3?
He went
Reach.
through. Yeah, he went, yeah,
Reach
3, yeah.
at 3, buddy, okay? So we're just happy to be here again. Thanks to the San Jose Sharks for allowing us to do this show.
Sharks.
Thank you guys for popping into the show. Thanks to our guests who showed up, especially Alan Hoshida, who wasn't even on the sheet, decided to do that out of his own time. Appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and call the show right here. You guys feel free to continue watching on whatever you're using to watch the draft and check out what happens with the Sharks pick at 30. You'll be sure to hear us talking about it on the next show. When will that be? We don't know. You need to hit the subscribe button so that you know when we're going live and you can join the chat right
Probably
then and there.
next week because they got free agents signing.
Probably next week.
It'll be a big show next week.
That's right, super producer Jason. Get ready, Jay. That's right. That's right.
Jason's like, I'm done.
Hold
and
on.
you know what?
Ooh, I didn't
I'm
sign
done too. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Devereaux.
And we will see you guys
Next week.
Next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.